All righty, we are live. I'm Chris Daly. Welcome to the Lone Star Gridiron Playoff Wrap-Up Show. I am joined by Brett Swinney. Brett, how are things going today?
It's going good. It's kind of a long week of playoffs. Had a couple nights this week just because of all the home games hosted by some of these bigger schools. So a lot of Thursday night games. So a lot of good games, a lot of good stuff to talk about today. I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. And we finally got some good football weather.
Yeah, it's now cold. It is cold
Right.
outside. If you haven't been outside lately, it is now officially cold. So
Officially cold. All right. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to go basically class by class, game by game. We're going to give you every score that happened and some back talk about it too. See what we got here. All right. So first off, we're going to start with 1A, where I am going to bring in, gosh, probably the most knowledgeable man I know on 1A, Jimmy Armendariz, otherwise known as Boo Boo. So, Brett, any comments before we jump out?
no, I'm excited to hear the 1A score because I really don't follow 1A a whole lot, but I'm excited to hear what the game shook down. So y'all go for it.
Let's do it. Hey, there he is, Boo Boo.
Hello, guys.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
sound like you were cutting out.
Oh, am I coming in now?
Oh, there you are. There you are. So,
Well,
Boo
good.
Boo, the sports machine. I like that.
Man, what a night for Texas 1A football out across the state. You know, this is an area where they get very little coverage, but I tell you what, the heart, the love, and the passion in these little communities, they live and die by their football, and so much of the going into Christmas, it sets your year in this little community, and there's a lot of heartache, a lot to look forward to too.
Cool. So, how do you want to do this? You want to just start with 1AD2 and run through some scores?
Yeah, we can. We'll go out through D2. Let me go through the scores of notable heights out there. Out west, we do know a lot more about that than we do about, I thought you guys out in the east, forgive me. We do love the game, but we're going to do the best we can out there for you. So you want me to just go through the rundown?
Yeah.
All right, here with D2. We had a big matchup with Groom and Amherst. Groom was 5-5. Groom came away with that game 44-24. Kind of a walkaway game, but they've got bigger things on the way. When I say bigger things, Balmorhea 9-1 lost this season to Division I, number 3, or respectively number 3 ranked. Balmorhea 9-1 played Loop 5-2. 5-2 got into the playoffs. They did take a loss here, 52-6 to Balmorhea. And what that's going to set is going to set up a Groom and Balmorhea matchup. And this should be a really good, but it'll be interesting to see what happens down the road. Then we're going to take it up to Klondike 8-3. Played a really tough 8-1 Sanderson. This game was going to have power. It had the coaching, and the Klondike Cougars going to come away with this one 6. And hearts are heavy out there in Sanderson, but hopefully they get it together and come back next year. That's now going to take us to With Harrow and Silverton. With Harrow is going to come away easily over Silverton. But what that sets up is a With Harrow, Klondike. I don't know where these games are going to be just yet. All these coaches are calling around, kind of setting things up. But man, Klondike 8-3, 9-1 going into this thing. It's going to be one heck of a matchup. West Texas royalty as far as six-man football goes. Jayton and Paducah. Jayton 8-2 now. Mm-hmm. That game ends 44-13. Jayton being victorious. Football play. An old football team out here with a lot of history. The 8-3 Throckmorton goes up against 6. Goldberg kind of squeaked into the playoffs, and they took a loss last night, 54-20 and that'll set them up. Throckmorton and Jayton. So this is going to be a football game between two teams that have been around in six-man a really long time. Both of them. So you're going to have a lot of tradition and a lot of heart on the line in that game. So if you've got definitely go out and watch Jayton and Throckmorton. Then we're going to go to the 7-3 new 6-3 Rule. Rule, very respectable season, but they take a loss to Newcastle to 49. And a team loaded with everything under the sun. Oh, Benjamin against 4-6 Motley County. Motley County in the past, great, pulled off a big state championship in the mid 2000s, 56 to Benjamin. And let me tell you something. Watch out, everybody. It looks like it may be a Benjamin up in the future.
Nice.
So then we're going to go out where we've got Oakwood and Bynum. Bynum was 4-6 going Oakwood. Oakwood, a heavy favorite going into this one. They didn't disappoint. 71-44. Then you got Oglesby and Iredell. Oglesby is going to come away with this one 60-30. They're 10-0. They're rolling on right now. So we look for big things from them. But this coming week, so that's going to be a big showdown. It's getting really exciting at playoffs. That's going to now take us to Bluffdale, 9-1 against an old powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
But Bluffdale able to come away with this one 80-30. And we're going to move on. 7-3 Morgan against 5-5 Fannondale. Morgan going up to 34, but that sets up a Bluffdale Morgan showdown. And this is going to matchups. Who's the favorite? I don't know. I'm not here to predict that, but I will say something. Then coming up, you've got Lorraine 9-7. Lorraine going to walk all over Panther Creek in this one 56-0. And Richland Springs. Richland Springs been in the news, been a lot of word out there. But Richland does take this one. I'm sorry, Richland does 61. I'm sorry, man, I'm all over the place. Richland Springs 61. Zephyr Springs moving on. And they're going to face off with Lorraine coming up. That's going to be 2-9 battling out. And then you've got 9-0 Cherokee against. This looked like it was going to be a big showdown, but Cherokee is going to come in there, wreck house. 50 blanket early in the playoffs. And that'll take us out to Rising Star 9-1 for Blackwell. But coming away with the win in this one, you could call this somewhat of an upset. 68-40 in this game. Now that sets us up with a 6-4 10-0 team, Cherokee, next week. That's going to be one heck of a showdown. So how you guys feeling about the East out there right now? Do y'all have a favorite as far as you're going into it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's tough. We don't follow a lot of 6-man, so it's kind of difficult. But I know every time when they get to state championship, those are some of the most fun games for sure.
It really is, and you know one of the ones I follow a lot is D1 6-man. I'm a kid from Rankin out there. I'm not a kid anymore, but we're going to start with the East one goes, and we did have some big games out there. This is one that was being talked about quite a bit. 6-man. It was 10-0 Gordon against 8-2 St. Joe, and in that goes away 62-16. This is a big win for that program, and it kind of got a mirror at Gordon at the moment. And well, they should not taking any losses this season. Blum, famous for just a few years ago defeating the mighty McLean in AT&T Stadium. I think we were all there that day, and we saw one of the biggest upsets. But 6-4 Blum takes on Aquila, and Blum does it again. It comes with 84-38. That'll set up Gordon Hardin and Blum in the next playoff. We've got these monsters, 10-0 Abbott against former state champions. Also, Abbott's going to come away with this one, 56-10. Another big win for Abbott. And now, let me tell you, they are watching game film on Abbott because Abbott looks to be and season favorite coming out of the East. And it really looks like we may be seeing them in the last. But it's going to set up a Union Hill 10-0. Another going up against Gorman. And this is going to take over 48-6 over Gorman. So now Abbott up against a 10-0 Union Hill. Sharpen your swords. Get rid of that area. Go to that football game because you're going to see some of the best you're going to ever see. Then you've got the surprising Erin County Hornets. Erin County rides that line between West versus East. This time, they're going to be a lot of people, including myself, are saying, hey, Erin County didn't play anybody. It's not looking good for them. Last night, they told everybody, bam, shut your mouth on a big win against May. And May 2 times has gone to state championship in the last 2 into the playoffs. They had a few injuries out there, but this is a big win for the Erie. Congratulations to you guys. 104-91 over. Then we're going to go to number 9-1 Lavert's Chapel against 5-5. Got an upset. 5-5 Lakey comes into this game and crawls away a wing in a prayer 39-35. So how about them kids out there with a big win? So what that's going to set up now is a little where they play that one, probably on a mountaintop somewhere, but it should be a good one. 10-0, and look at this. In the East, you got a lot of 10-0 teams, a lot of good football played out against Chester. Medina just going to roll over Chester in this game. Medina 50 win, and then a team that's always in there. Anytime you talk about East around, it's Jonesboro. Jonesboro's 10-1. They went up against Menard. Menard season began. They dropped down from 2A. There was a lot of talk on where they were going to stand and what, but Menard got a Class A lesson in Jonesboro, falling 54-6 in the first round of the playoffs. No Medina, and a 10-1 Jonesboro in the second round of the playoffs, cutting each other's throats. It's going to be real exciting. But that's the toughest part of the bracket in 6-man football. We're going to come out coyotes, lizards, and rattlesnakes. Follett took on Nazareth last night for this game. Nazareth was 9-2 going into this game. Big football, a lot of traditions going into these two games. It was a pretty good battle, but Nazareth is 40-24. Now, Spring Lake Earth, they lost a few kids in the pre. Didn't know where they were going to go with that, but they did say one thing: hey, we're a football team. Let's strap it up. So Spring Lake Earth is going to win 50-42 in a tight one over. Let me tell you something: a really good football team. So now you've got Knox City, a great team. They faced off with the Rankin Red Devils earlier this year, and this was the state. Rankin won that game, and the last play of the game, a young man named Paul around the left corner was able to seal their fate. And Knox City's defense with Red Devils pretty much in the second half of that ball game. So there's a lot of interesting things happening there. Petersburg, 50-28. Then we're going to take you out there to the happy kid. You got a quarterback, Sperber. This kid is as good as they come. They take on Miami last week. Miami. And the score is going to be happy 52. And that sets up a huge game out in the Northwest, guys. They're to find a better game, but I think there's going to be a couple out there. But Knox City in a happy collision course with Destiny. These two teams have been looking at each other all year. They knew this was going to come down to this early in the playoff. So Knox City, teams that both coincidentally scored in the 50s this week, are going to go at it. Guys, this is going to be a heck of a ball game. Then we're going to go to Whiteface season this year. And I do have a couple notes on Whiteface. I want to go through these guys real quick. If I can find them. So Whiteface was 9-2. Van Horn was 6-4. It was a really strong win against a very well-coached Van Horn team. The final 56-7 for Whiteface. But what's waiting out there? The 9-1 Rankin Red Devils, 3 Ira Bulldogs. Now, Ira, one of those teams, they've got a Coach Goodwin out there, one of them football. He spread the field up against the Red Devils. This was a game that they were supposed to. Rankin's only loss this season, though, came to the powerhouse defending state champion. They lost that game by 4 points earlier this season. But Coach Avalos has something in the biggest, best offensive line in the state of Texas. And this is what keeps the Rankin Red Devils. He won this game over Ira last night, 74-32, and a lot of points with that spread offense. Rankin will face off with Whiteface confirmation. This is the only game I have confirmation on because I'm from this area. 7 o'clock again, Borden County. So that's going to be a great showdown right there. Great matchup in the future. Then you've got Westbrook and Garden City. All we talk about a dream football game to go to. If you've never been to a 6-man, traveled 100,000 miles by camel to get to this game. Earlier this Garden City went to battle. They left bodies all over the field. There was blue and white. They had ambulances all over the field. This was a between two teams that do not like each other very much. When the dust settled, angry Westbrook gentleman was saying that possibly people were in black and white the loss in that game. But in that game, Westbrook pulled away. Well, Westbrook lost by Garden City. Westbrook wanted this matchup badly. Garden City lost last week, and Rankin would play Westbrook in the first round of the playoffs. Going in, it was all there, and the loss went for the Garden City Bears, 72-22. Now I don't know what's in the water in Westbrook of it. Then you got to go out to Buena Vista, one of those little towns out there, and you wonder, man, how is this a Division I football team? They don't have a store. The town and country, they got nothing, but they got a lot of heart and they got a lot of love for football. This is going to be a pretty decent matchup in this game, but the Buena Vista Longhorns on for one more week as they pull off a big victory, 86. So it is in a nutshell, folks. Your first week of playoffs and 6-man football till Friday night.
Sounds good. Hey, Jimmy, I want to thank you so much. And I do want to announce that we will be doing a 6-man show with you all season next year.
Let's go.
All right. And of course, we'll be talking more each and every weekend during the playoffs. Thanks again. I'm going to jump back over here to Brett, and we will move it over to 2A. There you are.
Hello, sir.
How's it going, man?
I'm going all right. I like the passion. I like the passion that Jimmy has for that 6-man. That's awesome. It'd be a great show, especially for those really tuned into that kind of stuff. Might have to listen just to hear him talk because he's got lots of good knowledge. Lots of good knowledge.
Cool. So yeah, we're about to jump over. I'm going to run a quick little spot here, and then we're going to run over and do 2A. And I just want to mention Black Friday sale, www.boardgamelegends.com, 50% off any of the games between now and Black Friday. So it's not just Black Friday sale. Have to use that code BF22. It'll take off half of the cost. So, Brett, who are we bringing in now?
I think that's me and you here.
This is us. Okay, well, that was easy.
Yeah, it's us.
Well, let's jump into 2A D2 then. Let's get started.
All right. Let's start over in Region 1. We got Vega over Memphis, 33-12. Seagraves over Bovina, 22-12. You got Wellington over Boys Ranch, 58-6. And Sudan over Ropes, 43-12. Didn't see anything, just the winners and runners up. Pretty straightforward in those first four matchups. It's going to match up Vega versus Seagraves and Wellington versus Sudan. So that's pretty much winner and runner up games there. So no big upsets in that first group. We'll scroll down to the bottom of that bracket as we have Rawls over Plains, 34-18. We got Clareton over Groover, 47-20. We've got New Home over Hale Center, 49-8. And we've got Sunray over Shamrock, 53-35.
Yeah.
Again, was chalk there. All the winners and all the runners up advanced, so no big upsets early in that bracket. So you've got Rawls versus Clareton, and then New Home versus Sunray. So that region pretty much was chalk all the way through. We'll slide down to Region 2. We've got Wink with a big win, 60-0 over Cross Plains. We got Santo with a close win, 28-20 over Seymour. Albany, 49-13 winners over El Dorado. And we've got Munster with an upset win, 37-14 over Archer City. So that's looks like that district picked up an extra competitor there, District 8. So you've got Munster versus Albany and Wink versus Santo. So that was the first upset of that bracket. So
yeah, Munster is one of those teams that we do a coaches show for each week.
Okay.
And when you do one of those, you learn a lot about the team that you don't learn. And so it didn't feel like an upset for us because we knew kind of the inside. That's one of the shows Terry does. But
okay. Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing too. Like in that instance, just because it's it's an upset as far as the way they're seeded. We all know that some of the districts are, and we'll talk about that. There's several in the bigger classifications that we for sure know, like the district just swept, and so that may not have been as big an upset as we thought it was, just because the district just was better overall. So, all right, so let's slide on down. We've got the bottom half here of Region 2. We've got Winthrop over Celeste, 35-27. We've got a close one is we've got Sterling City with a 1-point win, 43-42 over Miles. And we've got Collinsville, 21-7 over Haskell. And McCarney with a win, 42-6 over Roscoe. We had Sterling City with that close win. They were the third seed in District 5, so they knocked off the second seed Miles team. So that sets up a matchup of Winthrop, Sterling City. That's actually already scheduled for, looks like the 17th. That's a Thursday at 7 p.m. in Clyde. And then we've got Collinsville versus McCarney. So that's that half of the bracket. So that's first two regions. We'll slide over to Region 3. We've got Bowie over Hico, 34-22. We've got Deweyville over Tenaha, 28-14. Mart It's rolling right now, 67-14 over that's Linden Kildare. We've got Cushing with a win over is that Coles Mill? 27-26. That was a close one there. Just to point out in this top part of Region 3, I think this region's march to lose. They're a state contender every year pretty much. And this is going to be a tough. They're going to be a tough out. If anybody's going to beat Mart, they're going to have to catch them on a bad night probably and play a stellar game. I'm sure you know about Mart, Chris. You got
they're the epitome of a reloading team. Every year it seems like they're state bound almost. But I tell you, I'm kind of wincing as you say a couple of these names because some of the locals here are going to come out and say, "Hey, you're saying my name wrong."
Hey, it's all right. Hey, if they're listening, come
That's
in the
right.
chat and correct me. Come in the chat and correct me. Come on and be social today. We'll take all corrections here.
Right on.
All right, so we'll move down to the bottom half, and as I am from Northeast Texas Sports Network, we've got one of our favorites in this bracket, the Carlisle Indians, with a big win this week, 74-14 over Evadale, and I think Carlisle is unfortunate for them. They're in Mart's bracket. It's going to be. I have a feeling that they should be able to get to that Mart game. It'll be interesting to see how they can compete against Mart because Carlisle has been ranked most of the season, and so we've talked about them at length. But that's going to be a tough one. So we'll see if that matchup comes to fruition. Carlisle's going to be facing up against Wortham next round. Wortham got a big win over Clarksville, 54-6, and Lovelady, probably another favorite in that bracket, with a big win, 62-0 over Overton. We talked about Overton getting that playoff berth, first time in a long time. They kind of the Alto effect. Alto, their class, their numbers got skewed a little bit, and they were not eligible for playoff competition this year or next. So Overton got that extra spot in District 11. So Lovelady is going to go up against Maud as they win 21-14. So I look to in this bracket on this bottom half a Carlisle Lovelady matchup possibly in the third round if everything holds true. What do you think about that, Chris? You got anything to add on that?
No, I was just noticing. I think we have another comment here. Hold on one second. Corey, what were you saying?
Go ahead, Corey.
What's going on, guys? No, I was saying just you were talking about upsets in that division. Honestly, there's not many upsets that's going to be in that division. The big guys or the ranked teams, as you will see in the next division that we discuss, the ranked teams of district champions, they're going to control much of the 2A and the 3A, except in the East Texas region. We'll get on that a little bit later, but you're not going to get many upsets in that division at all, in those divisions. So.
What do you think about this bracket, Corey? You think it's shaping out to be Carlisle, possibly Lovelady winner goes against Mart there?
Lovelady's been surprising. And I mean, just sheer dominance. They've been dominant thus far, but we'll see how Carlisle lasts out. And I'm saying it with a smile on my face. You know how much we've gotten grief about Carlisle on our show. So we'll see how long Carlisle will last, especially Lovelady playing that good football at this late. So
awesome. All right, so that's Region 3. We'll slide down to Region 4 here. We got Chilton over Yorktown, 39-14. We've got a Brackett over Woodboro, 68-12. Wow, that's a big one. Brackett, the third seed out of that district, so that's a big win for them. You got Burton, 47-0 over Milano. Rock Springs, 50-20 win over Agua.
Agua Dulce.
And so that's going to set up Chilton versus Brackett and Burton versus Rock Springs. You got any insight on that one, Chris? Not real familiar with those teams.
Chilton's always tough. Chilton, was a state power 10 years ago, but it looks like they're coming back. They're going to be a strong one again.
Okay. All right, so we'll move down here to the last 4 games of this bracket. We've got Sabinal 43-0 over Pettis. We've got Falls City with a 40-36 win over Brimond.
Fremont,
That
right?
was a highlighted game. That was actually on last night. I kind of watched a little bit about that one,
Mhm.
and one of those games that they could have either one of them could have won that game. It was a highly contested game. And Falls City was able to come out at the end and take that one, so it's a big win for them. We got Dehanis over Brunei 12-0, and we've got Granger over Somerville
Yep.
60-13. So that leaves matchups with Sabinal and Falls City in the top, and you got Dehanis and Granger on the bottom half
I
there.
tell you that Sabinal Falls City matchup is going to be a good one because those are two very strong teams, and you can see by their score in the by district, they're both on fire right now.
Yeah, should be a good one. Should be a good one. That wraps up that bracket. Y'all got any final thoughts before we close out this region or this division?
D2. Now you want to jump over to D1, and I guess Corey just stay in here.
All right, we'll jump over to 2A Division One.
All right, let me back myself out, and I will put us on the ticker.
All right, welcome again, Corey. We'll talk some
Going on.
2A Division One football here.
Let's go.
All right, I'll start to do some scores. You want to do some too? You got your bracket pulled up there.
Let me go back to my bracket here.
That way they don't have to continue listening to me talk the entire time. I'll start out with Region 1, this top part here. We got Stratford 49-8 over Sundown, and Cisco with a 55-0 win over Reagan County. We got New Deal 71-18 over Highland Park Hornets out of Amarillo. We got Forson with a 21-14 win over Stanford. That's going to match up Stratford and Cisco in the next round. They're going to play, looks like, Friday night at 6 p.m. And New Deal and Forson are going to play Thursday night at 7 p.m. So, yeah, I'll pass it on. You want to look at that bottom part there, Corey?
Yeah, it looks like we got Sonora, which is with a 28-27 win over Only. Let's see, we got Farewell over Olton, 41-23. Looks like they'll play that next matchup there. We got Hawley 52-8 over Cristobal, which is also if you look at that, that's just a blowout. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen all throughout the round. But Hawley with the big time win, Panhandle over Florida 54-28. That was another shocker right there. But Panhandle and Hawley will be playing in that next matchup as well into the bottom half of Region 1. So that's going to be some good matchups there. Both teams score over 50. So you can tell their offenses are humming right now. So let's see. I guess the first team that scores 50 wins that game, I guess.
It might be more than that. I mean, at this
Right.
point, the defenses didn't. I mean, of course, Harley's defense only allowed 8 points. You don't know the caliber of opponent that they faced, but yeah, it should be a shootout. Should be at least 100 points scored total. No problem there. No problem there. All right, we'll roll down here to Region 2. We've got Toller over White Wright 61-0, and Marlin over Rio Vista 38-7. It's going to match up Toller and Marlin in the next round. You've got Tioga. Couldn't quite get Tioga. Falls to Hamilton 41-15. Wow, that's an upset there as the Hamilton gets in as the 4th place team and knocks off them. They're going to face Axtell in the next round as they won 28-27 in a close one. So you've got District 5's 4th place. It must have been a tough district right there. I'm just going to throw that out there because looks like they're going to make some noise.
Right. And that was an upset. That's one of the first upsets we've seen. Hamilton with that big time win. So I'm anxious to see how that kind of balances itself out, especially with the rest of Region 2. You
Yeah,
got
go ahead.
Rizel over Cayuga, 28-7. Then you've got Bangs over Nacona, 61-21. So that's another game that's going to be played on the 18th here on Friday at 7:30. That's of course as well. Then you got Crawford over Kern, 66-7, and then you got Coleman over Alvord, 46-7. So the bottom half of this one, of course, we covered parts of Cayuga's a little outside of the East Texas area, but we still covered nonetheless. Those some big games, and Cayuga's been playing very well. But like we said before, there's no upsets. I kind of mentioned it before. You get in this region, there's the smaller room for upsets. Those
Yeah.
teams that are dominant are going to dominate these particular regions. So
It looks like District 5 though is tough. They got all 4 teams moving on, so
right,
that's like they're showing their strength.
right.
All right, so let's move over here to the other side of the bracket, and this is going to be a little more familiar territory to us, Corey, right here. This Region 3 is going to be some juicy ones, as Cooper with a big win over Hawkins, 55-6.
Right.
No shocker there, and if they ever got some love from some CM this year, we're still trying to get you to believe.
I'm believing now. They're playing good football. I'm believing now.
You got Corrigan Camden with a 28-7 win over Garrison.
That was a big win. That was a big shocker.
I did. I had Garrison in that one in our Pick'em Challenge. I thought that just Garrison being in that district, they played Timpson really tough. I thought they would be able to do it. But man, shout out to Corrigan.
That's a tough. Yeah, shout out to Corrigan Candle. Naturally, Corrigan Candle's been good in the past. They've had a rich tradition in football as well, so it's no surprise. But we thought that Garrison would kind of hold it out because they've been playing good football too. And that 28-7 win, that's just more convincing for them up to this point. So that Corrigan Candle and Cooper game this coming Friday is going to be something to watch.
Yeah. And basically, we've got that game will be in Athens. Looks like it'll be Friday at 7 p.m. That's going to be a good one. I think Vince has something to say. Bring Vince on here.
Don't bring me. Hey, whoa, wait.
Come on. You said how is it a shocker?
How is it a shocker when they've been blowing people out all district? How's it a shocker? You wasn't paying attention. You was sleeping on it.
A shocker for who? Who?
Just saying for what it is.
Okay, who are you saying is not a shocker?
On the Corrigan game.
They just got beat handily by Centerville last week.
But before that, what did we talk about? Nobody scored against this team in district. Nobody. Yeah. Well, the last game of district, yeah. Which I was wondering if there a reason why they got beat that way. Maybe they rested some people. I don't know.
No. Vince, no.
You don't blank 4 teams in a row. I'm throwing it out there. You don't blank 4 teams in a row. So for me, it wasn't no shocker. Was I the only one that picked them in our thing?
You probably were.
You probably were, yeah.
Okay, well.
Here's my reasoning why. Here's my reasoning on that particular game is
no
Garrison played in Timpson's their thing, and so I think that's the reason why that I went with them. I thought they were tougher and more prepared. They played Timpson very solid and were very close to beating Timpson. That's the reason why I gave them the edge. It had anything to do with Corrigan Canyon's previous game. It was more about playing Timpson tough. So that's why I went with them.
Well, Corey's just over there looking foolish.
I'm gonna look foolish. I picked Garrison.
Well, here's one we're not surprised about down below in the bottom half of this particular part of the bracket is Beckville rolls 77-7 over Rivercrest. That's no surprise there. Joaquin 61-0 over Leon, and that's a juicy matchup right there, guys. Beckville, Joaquin. Yeah, we don't have a time or date for that one yet, but that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, that's the game of East Texas at this point. That's the big one right there.
This whole bracket turned into a pretty good one. Corey, you want to grab that bottom half?
Oh, for sure. Timpson, no surprise, beat Groveton 60-3. Groveton Indians are not the same as they used to be, but nonetheless, they still made it to the playoffs. But nobody's stopping Bussy them. If you guys watch the show, that's what we call Timpson Timpson and that crew. Frankston 47-34. Shout out to the Frankston Indians for getting that victory. Now, of course, Frankston's 9-2 at this point, and they're
Yeah.
facing a Timpson team that's undefeated, and they're going to battle in Rusk and Eagle Stadium.
Congratulations to Frankston. Good season, Frankston, but I think it
Wow,
ends
no
this
love for
Friday.
Frankston. That's the disrespect. No love for
Sorry.
Frankston. That's the disrespect.
I'm brutally honest. I give luck to Frankston, but
I expect a good game. But here's an even deeper matchup.
a good game.
Centerfield, hey, come on. Maybe it's competitive.
Listen, I'm not gonna disrespect them. They got to show up. They got to play. I'll ride with Frankston. I don't care. I'm kind of an underdog anyway.
So you're gonna pick Frankston this week.
I want to see Goliath fall. Now, not necessarily seeing that be Timpson. Maybe
Listen,
that be.
I don't think they house Frankston by 70 or by 60 points. I don't think they blank them. However, I do believe the next matchup they get past Frankston.
Not gonna happen.
You have to keep the score low. You're gonna have to keep it low.
I don't think they're gonna score 60 on Frankston. They may score 40. It may be 40-27. I give them that. It's gonna be a matchup.
No,
but I don't.
Listen, Frankston.
Busting and boys gonna win by as many touchdowns as they want to.
I'm finna give you the solution. I'm finna give Frankston the solution.
What? Don't show up?
No. First,
so if you forfeit, you don't have there's no score. So you
got to keep the score low. You're gonna need to put 8 in the box. And secondly, you probably gonna have to pray for some rain. Maybe a couple lightning strikes. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't even know if you put 8 in the box if that's gonna stop busting.
Are you trying to say that you want the lightning to strike somebody on the field?
No, I'm saying that it slows.
Just as far as
it slows down the momentum.
The game goes.
In case the game get out of hand, maybe lightning strikes and y'all delay so y'all can regroup. Because listen, Bussy is a monster, man. He is absolute monster.
We got to keep it moving.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's all right. We got Centerville. The matchup that I was talking about. We had Centerville 51 over Shelby, 51-13 over Shelbyville. Then, of course, Honey Grove beat Harleton 45-6. Now, of course, Shelbyville's not bad. Harleton didn't have a bad season either. But both teams, Centerville, we know we didn't discuss how good Centerville was until about mid-season. Centerville's pretty good. They're the top 10 team, and Centerville's pretty good. So I'm looking forward to the Centerville Timpson game. I'm just going to look forward to Centerville.
This whole bracket is juicy matchups. I'll just say that. All 4 of these games are really good matchups.
Oh yeah. If just by happening, if Frankston does get past Centerville, if they're gonna beat Frankston get past Timpson, I'm sorry, Centerville. That Centerville Timpson game, play it in Tyler. I'd like for them to play that game in Tyler, something like that. That'd be nice.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's go on down here. I know that's some juicy ones. We'll see what Region 4 has got going for us here. We've got Flatona 59-32. That's going to be over Junction. We've got Three Rivers 62-19 win over Freer. That'll match up Flatona and Three Rivers in the second round. We've got Mason 44-7 over Hearn, and Shiner 54-14 over Mason. Shiner is on a collision course with your Furio in this bracket, as those two teams are they've played a few times over the last several years, and it should be a good one. All right, so we've got.
Well, hey, I have to mention something on that one.
Go for it, Chris.
Beside the fact that they're both in the same district, so yeah, they do play each other a lot. Refurio and Shiner. Interesting matchup of those two. They did play in district, but you just don't know what's going to happen as they move forward. Looking at Refurio. Coach Jason Herring, when first week of the season, they lost to Hitchcock, and they lost bad to Hitchcock. But he said almost everybody's an underclassman. I mean, his whole team is underclassmen. Sophomores are younger, So it took them a while. They're learning, but their line is big. And at this level, if you got a big line, you can do something. because talent guys are everywhere at that level. You can find a running back, but it's hard to find a big line, and they're figuring it out. They're learning their moves and their blocks, and on the defensive side, how to get around those blocks. So I think Refugio is probably a lot better than people realize. Both of them blew through the district, beating teams 50, 60 to nothing. I mean, they just rolled through district. So you're going to see a collision for sure. I agree with that.
Okay.
Awesome. That's good perspective because as we go down here, Corey, we got a Refugio score there.
Right. Of course, they beat Ben Bolt 66-14. So that's a no-brainer right there. That is going to breeze through this entire region. They got Holland beat Stockdale 36-31, which is a close game. I just don't see that being a big-time matchup there. We got Ganado beating La Villa 68-6. I'm sorry, and Thorndale beating Johnson 41-30. So that, of course, that rack is going to be that bottom bracket is going to be Refugio versus Shiner eventually. So we already know how that's going to match up.
All right. I guess that wraps. Anything else you want to talk about for this particular classification here, 2A Division 2? Any last thoughts?
No, just shout out to Frankston. I mean, Vince is not giving him a chance, so I am
the one
looking
giving him a
for
chance.
that
What are you
game.
talking
I'm looking
about?
for that game. I'm
Oh,
looking for it.
we've got one of our loyal listeners here, guys, that's got a comment for us.
Hold on, Derek.
Like Derek, I survived on my island. You sure did. You did more than survive on your island, Derek. You you did fairly well.
Yeah.
I'll give that as Derek. And actually, I think you had several on there with you. After I went back and looked at it, Mount Vernon. We'll talk about that game here shortly.
Here's Eddie. I want to see what happened to Liberty Ilo since they were so good this year in Atlanta. I want to see what happened to them. Yeah, they played Centerville. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, that wraps it up for Region 2. We'll bring Chris back, and we'll move on to the next segment.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. So what's next, Brett?
Well, we got 3A Division 2 next up on the agenda here.
Nice. And who do we have on board for that one?
We have 3A Division 2. We've got Corey and Vince on for 3A Division 2.
Nice. I will bring them in. I may pop in on a couple of these because, my alma mater is a 3A Vanderbilt Industrial, and
Yeah,
so
I saw they got a win.
Yeah, they did. So I'll offer some perspective there, or at least my biased opinion.
Yeah. Hey, we love that. That's what it is about. We get called out on it for all the time, and once we get to that 4A Division 1, we'll have some biased opinion, I'm sure, as well.
Right,
so it's okay.
Bring the guys on.
All right.
My man. Vince is writing something down. Vince, you ready to go?
Hey, multitask. I'm out. Let's go.
All right, let's go. This is Division 3-2. This is Division. This is Class 3A Division 2. We're gonna start off with some scores here in Region 1. Let's see what we got here. We have Crane beating San Angelo. Here I don't know the full name of that school, San Angelo Leadership Charter Academy. Looks like that game was 55-20 Crane over there. Idolo beating Friona 24-21. So Crane and Idolo will be facing off in the next round there. Looks like Wall had a bye. So they'll be facing off against Childress. They beat Kahoma 46-20. So Wall and Childress will play off on that next matchup there as well. No surprise, Canadian, the Wildcats, big over Roosevelt 70-8. Canadians always good in football this time of year, so this is their time to shine. They beat Roosevelt, and then early beat Compass 62-0. So Canadian will play early in that particular region. That game there. Spearman all over Abernathy, 21-7, and then Alpine over Brady 57-55. That's a close win there in that particular region. So the base that region shapes out is going to be Alpine versus Spearman, Early versus Canadian, Childress versus Wall, and Crane versus Idolo. And most of those games are going to be pretty good. Idler's always good each year. So
Canadian's always pretty good too.
yeah, Canadian's always going to dominate, especially around this time. So the Wildcats are always good. So that's another breath.
And I want to give a shout out to we had got Miss Pasama here on the show, so stay with us, Miss Pasama. We'll be talking 4A Division 1 here shortly, so we'll be talking. So stay with us. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely, Vince. You want to take over that Region 2?
Region 2. All right. So looks like we got Comanche beating out I don't want to butcher this one. Henrietta. Henrietta. I don't know anything about Henrietta, but 69-27. Big win for them. Looks like we also have Bells beating out Blooming Grove 42-13. A lot of blowouts here. Then Holiday and Merkel 40-12. Again, another blowout here. I got a lot of them here for you. Scurry versus Blue Ridge 45-14. Ooh.
The Scary Ross is always good.
Yeah,
no
good
love, man. No love down in this region too.
Well, that's what we talk about. Some of these towns, I mean, you're either good or you're not.
You're good. You're going to be good You're going to be good all the time.
Yeah, so that's why
have offs.
Yeah, it's not like when you get to the bigger classifications where it's a lot more. When you have 5,000 students to 400 4,500 students, it's a lot more likely that the matchup's going to be a little, it could be here or there. These guys, you lose one player or you get one player move in, that's a huge difference in these smaller classifications. So that's why you see a lot of that. And as we talked about earlier, the powerhouses are powerhouses.
Yeah, absolutely. I got Palmer versus Howell Palmer 39-12 over Howell. Who else we got down here? Calliesburg versus Millsap 40-20. That might have been the closest game so far. Let's see.
That next one is was a forfeit. They didn't have enough players to play that game. That was
all right. I couldn't. I was seeing it said 2-0, and I said, that don't sound right.
Yeah, that's a forfeit.
It looks like with a forfeit, Gunter takes that win over. I lost it there for a second. Over Trinity, and then we have Jacksboro over City View 55-35.
Yeah. So Gunter's gonna take that. That's
practically everyone. Every game was a blowout in Region 2, pretty much. So hopefully we get some better. I'm sure we're gonna get some better competition in this second round moving forward. So
we should, but Gunter's going. I mean, they're gonna take that. They're always good, no matter what. So I'm pretty sure they'll take that.
Yeah.
They're gonna dominate that one. Let's see here.
Region 3. You want to do Region 3? You want me to do Region?
Let's go and tackle. We can discuss Region 3.
Region 3. We got some things to talk about in this Region 3.
Okay. All right. Let's do this.
Yeah. So of course West Rusk. Shout out to West Rusk, the state's favorite team. West Rusk 36-0 over Paul Pewitt. No surprise there. Brett saw him before, so I'm gonna take Brett's word for it. They're the real deal. So 36.
They look legit. I think they're gonna. Man, I'm just throwing it out there. Dangerfield, West Rusk, juicy matchup for region final. And just
we'll take your word for it. We'll take your word for it. Wascom 10, Hemphill 8. Low scoring matchup for Wascom. Low scoring matchup.
Is that a baseball score?
It's got to be a couple of safeties and a couple of field goals, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, maybe a field goal and a touchdown. Maybe I don't know.
That's interesting. You don't see that, especially the lower classifications. I mean, I guess somebody could have a field goal kicker we don't know about.
And you never know. Some of these schools are really good at that. Especially they've been playing football this time of year. You never know. Mm-hmm. But that West Rusk Wascom matchup, I'm just gonna say this: that's a trap game for West Rusk. We already know how good Wascom is. If they haven't played the best football as of late throughout the year. They made it to the playoffs, but could they sneak out an upset? I wouldn't say it's not. It's not
Uh,
unlikely.
it's not the CM
unlikely.
theory. It's not the
No, it's not
CM
the CM
theory.
theory. It's not the CM theory. But
Nah,
I like the upset. I do like the upset. It could be there. I'm
Okay, here we
not
go.
denying.
Here's our answer: touchdown and 2-point
two-point
conversion.
conversion.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. We're gonna jump down here. We got a Hooks over Troop. I know we have a lot of ties there with the Troop team. Shout out to Hooks for getting that win,
Mhm.
34-14.
Yeah.
Troop season is over. Trey
Hey.
Davis, one of the guys we kind of highlighted there. He's jumped different positions and stuff. So
Hey, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go. We got a chat here, Corey, real quick. I want to give Joe M some information. Thanks for joining us, Joe. Says he's new. Great show. Have you talked about 6A, 5A, and 4A? No, we have not, Joe. So stay
Not
with
yet.
us. We're
Not yet.
getting
It's
there.
on the
We're
way.
We're on 3A right now. We're working our way up. So stay with us, Joe. Thanks for joining us today.
appreciate it.
So
All right.
yeah, that's going to be tough. That top bracket. We thought Hooks was good, and they were. And it looks like to me, just from the way this shaped out, District 10 is pretty strong. Hooks, DeKalb, Boston.
Mhm.
I mean,
I'm just gonna say this: Harmony beat New Waverly. And if you know anything about New Waverly, they're good in football. But anything they put, they're like the Tatum of the Southwest a little bit. They're good no matter what. Football, basketball, track, no matter what. New Waverly's good, talented, fast, big and strong. That's a very good win for Harmony. So this Hooks and Harmony game is gonna be a good matchup no matter what. So shout out to those. Shout out to Harmony for beating New Waverly. That's gonna be a good game.
all right, let's go down to the bottom, I guess. Bitch, you want to grab that, or you want me to get that? The bottom, Region 3.
I'll get it.
Okay, go for it.
So we got Dangerfield blowing out Anderson 41-6. I mean, that's no surprise there. You got DeKalb edging out Edgewood 42-40. That was a good game. That would have been a nice one to go watch. If you were there, I'm pretty sure you love that one.
It's a trap game. Dangerfield to Cab. Trap game. I got to get that win. Cab is not. The Cab is not
Don't sleep on DeKalb.
Oh wait,
Don't sleep
but
on
we've
it.
got
It's a trap
DeKalb is on the CM Theory watch though. They barely
it's a
won the
trap
week
game.
before. So
Wait, so does that mean that they're going to lose or that they're
No,
going to
Yeah.
win?
They're not on Theory watch. They're not on Theory.
they
This is
are.
just-
Yes, they are. This CM Theory, they barely won the week before, so the next week they could slip up. That's what
You
that
can't
is,
change
right?
the theory
Yeah,
now. You can't change the theory.
listen,
You can't change it.
no, but listen, it's only if.
All he says
Hold on,
is
wait a minute. It'd be a difference if Dangerfield barely won. If they're the favorite, if Dangerfield barely won, and
Oh,
then
so now
they
you're
came
throwing a
in-
different. So now
I'm
you're
That don't
changing the
make no sense,
equation.
Corey.
I'm only saying
That
if
don't
they're
make no sense.
Okay, all right. I'm just only saying if they're the favorite. It only makes it juicy if they're the favorite. It only
I'm
makes
just
it
going off
juicy
the
if they're
theory.
favorite.
You said
I
that
know.
the barely win theory was
I know
that
that barely. Of course, Dangerfield. No matter what, Dangerfield's a favorite, right? So it makes it juicy if Dangerfield barely wins the week before, and the
okay.
team under
But-
them plays. That's what I'm saying. This only
But
makes it.
listen to me real quick.
Mhm.
Based off of what you said before, it sounds like off the formula that Dangerfield is finna blow out DeKalb, right? Because that's what we were using that formula for prior to this.
Yeah, no matter what, Dangerfield's the favorite in this particular matchup.
Okay.
So the barely win theory wouldn't apply to this one. Only if the favorite was there before.
he can change it.
It's
Who
his
said
theory.
that?
He can change. That's Chris.
You know what? Hey, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that.
Nah,
We-
you don't get to change
We can
nothing.
change just on anything. Yeah, we can do anything. But all I'm
All
saying
right,
is
let me move.
only
We're
if
gonna
the- it's
change the
only
name
if
of it
it's
to
in
the excuses theory. We're gonna.
Ooh.
So then he could just change it, and he can make it however he wants to fit whatever game he wants to.
All right, let me move on real quick. We got Newton over Hugh Springs 58-0. Man, zeros, man. And then Grand Saline taking the L to New Boston.
This one surprised me.
Yeah,
guys,
that
right
was a
here.
good
Yeah, 35-59.
I
New
didn't
Boston,
think
good win.
New Boston's
win.
barely made it to the play.
New Boston
They
came
were the
out.
fourth seed.
New Boston
No,
came
they were
out
the
swinging.
third. They were the third seed.
I'm sorry, they were third seed. I'm sorry, they were third seed.
But
that-
Third seed,
but that just-
But
14,
again, they
yeah.
took advantage of the situation. They came out swinging, and they understand it's win or go home at this point.
But now it looks like that
Shout out
District
to
10
District
is
10.
they got 3 of the 4. They didn't get West
Right.
Rusk got the win, but the rest of them, District 9.
Yeah, shout
out
out to
except for
District
West Rusk.
10. District 10 come out swinging. Shout out to District 10, man. I see you.
Yeah.
I see you. There we go. Good
So,
job.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody else think? I mean, barring something happening with the CM theory or anything else, it's Dangerfield and West Rusk in that region
I
final.
don't see that. I don't see that. That DeKalb Dangerfield game is tricky. No theories included. DeKalb's playing pretty good football. We've overlooked them late in this season, but DeKalb is playing some pretty good football. So it's not going to be a pushover for Dangerfield. This is a trap game for Dangerfield. That's far. They can get past DeKalb. I think they'll be okay.
All right. Well, let's move on down. I guess Corey, you gonna grab that region 4 and.
Oh yeah, we got this one. We got of course Lexington losing to Brazos 35-28. That's an upset win for them. Let's see, Hebronville 40. Let's see, versus Natalia 14. So Brazos and Hebronville playing off in the next round there. We got Tidehaven over Clifton 27-7. See, we got Nixon Smiley over Santa Rosa 20-14, and they're gonna square off this coming Friday at 7:30. Site doesn't show the site's pending there. We got Poth over George. I don't know the rest of their names. 64-0.
It's George West.
George West. Okay, thank you. And then I have Bowling 35, Buffalo 7. That's a big time win for them over Buffalo. We got Taft 38, Comfort 14. And then we have Rogers over Van Vleck 22-0. So Taft and Rogers will play off in the next round. And we got Poth and Bowling will play off as well. Of course, we have Tidehaven and Nixon Smiley will play off. And then, of course, Brazos and Hebronville will play off as well in the next round. So some good matchups in Region 4. Of course,
I like Poth there. I think they're
Poth is going to be really good. But Brazos with the upset 28. It's a big upset there.
What you got, Chris?
Yeah, going into this one, I was thinking coming out of that region was Poth versus Lexington, but obviously Lexington dropped the ball, literally. So I'm with you too. I think Poth is the one that comes out of this region.
All right.
Oh,
good to hear from a Region 4 expert. But with that, we're on track.
Right.
It's good.
And we do apologize if we're mispronouncing schools and stuff like that. You got to understand.
That's really the only reason I broke in was to silently and somehow eke you into pronouncing it the right way.
Right. I was like, I know it's something.
Poth.
Okay. Poth. Okay. Like Poth.
Well, Poth, if you keep winning, then we'll have to say your name a lot. So then maybe we'll have it down by the end of this.
Please, no disrespect. No disrespect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else we want to talk about with 382, fellas? Any final thoughts?
Not for me. It's good.
Not really.
I'm good
on
this one.
Jump over to D1.
I think we're ready to go to D1 now.
Let's do it.
There we go. 3A Division 1. Region 1. We'll start out the bracket with an upset as Dalhart with a win over Denver City, 31-21.
Okay.
We got Whitesboro with a big win, 60-6 over Vernon.
Yeah.
And we have so that matchup with Dalhart and Whitesboro in the second round. We've got Shallow Water with a big win over La Mesa, 41-3. And we've got Paradise with a win over Breckenridge, 47-7. So that puts a matchup of Paradise and Whitesboro. Paradise and Shallow Water and Whitesboro and Dalhart. Now, Whitesboro and Paradise both out of District 4. So basically it was District 3 and District 1 decided they didn't want to play anymore in that top bracket because it's now just District 2 and District 4 up top. So we'll see how that turns out. Somebody want to grab the bottom half of that bracket?
let's see. We got Pottsboro over Gladewater, 33-14.
Whoa, where you at? Where you at, Vince?
I'm on Region 2.
Region 1. Region 1.
1.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you went up to all. My bad.
No,
I'm
we got the
jumping.
bottom.
I'm jumping.
The bottom half.
It's the
of Region
bottom
1.
half of Region 1. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. All right, so we got Jim Ned over Pilot Point, 41-0. Why do I get all the blowouts? I want the juicy. Bushland over Kermit, 55-6. See what I'm talking about? Let's go through. Who we got? Brock over Iowa Park, 48-0. I ain't getting no scores, guys. I'm not getting no scores here. Let's see. Oh,
There you
here's
go.
one. Here's one. Brownfield over Muleshoe. I'm sorry. I said it wrong. Muleshoe
Muleshoe,
over
that's right.
Brownfield, 47-37. That turned out to be a good one. Now this might be. I'm looking at some numbers here.
Yeah, this matchup.
Muleshoe. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Muleshoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Muleshoe scored 40 points in the second quarter.
Wow.
40.
Well, looking at this bracket, what I was talking about a while ago is, District 1 is completely out, so they're all gone, and District 3 has Jim Ned, and that's the only survivor. So, looks like District 2 and District 4 are primarily the strong suits here in this particular region. We've been talking about Brock all year and how their schedule was really tough. They played some hard teams. They went, I think it was like 0-4 to start the year or something like that.
Yeah, that's another one of those teams that we do a coaches show. We've been doing their show now for 6 years, and Billy Mathis has things going the right way again. I mean, not that they ever really slipped down, but I think they're clearly the team in this region.
Yeah, I think so. And they challenge themselves, and we've talked about that a lot on our show, Chris. Is when you don't challenge yourself in the pre-district and you get to district, not ready, then I think that's a lot worse than coming in with a couple of losses, but you're prepared for your district matchups and for the playoffs. So they've challenged themselves. They probably won't play many teams better than what they've already played earlier in the season. So
if Bushland gets past Jim Ned, I'm anxious to see, because that'll be a 6-7 matchup between Brock and Bushland. So that'll be a nice little matchup there in the state ranks. So,
all right, let's go down here to Region 2, and this one's we got some real stuff to talk about here in Region 2, because this is where it falls into the teams we cover. We'll start from the top. We've got Pottsboro over Gladewater, 33-14, and we got Whitney over Teague, 38-15. So that matchup will be Pottsboro and Whitney. That's going to be at Mesquite Memorial Stadium on Thursday at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
We've got somebody here. Oh, it's Derek's back. Whitesboro had them on the ropes. I guess he's talking about. Is he talking about the previous? Where's he talking about?
Yeah, it must be the previous.
Yeah. Had who on the ropes though? Who is he talking about?
Shout out to, hey, I said shout out to Gladewater. I didn't think they would just get completely blown out, but I mean, 33-14, they lost by 18 points. I know that they played a lot tougher than I expected. So shout out to Gladewater, making the playoffs and not getting completely humiliated. So
yeah, they fought hard there. Down to the next 4 teams here. We've got Mineola with one of the shockers of the week to me over Jefferson. Shout out to Dawson Pendergrass. 31-13 over Jefferson. And then Grandview 42-7 over Fairfield. And yes, we've alluded to that, Derek. We've got District 5 swept District 6, and that's, I mean, we thought they were better than what we thought they were. I guess I knew Mineola was going to be good, and I thought about picking. I thought about picking them, but I was like, man, Jefferson, man, they beat Tatum, they beat Atlanta, they were solid.
So remember, Mineola had to make the playoffs. Remember, Mineola had to play that one game and make it to the playoffs. All you have to do is get in, and then you get in. Now look at Mineola. They beat a. Come on, man. That's pretty good. Minneola's on the road. They're playing their best football late, so watch out for
Yeah.
Mineola this far.
They'll be a tough out, especially when you have a guy like Pendergrass on the field. When he's usually going to be the best player on the field, those kind of teams are dangerous.
So maybe they can make a run. We'll keep watching. Shout out Mineola.
All right, Corey, you want to grab that bottom half?
Oh yeah, let's see here. We got West over Mejia, 21-0. It's a blowout. This is the game that shocked me. Tatum losing to Mount Vernon 42-6. And I said it shocked me because I thought Tatum was going to be a tough out. Shout out to Mount Vernon for taking care of business, 42-6 over Tatum. And you got West and Mount Vernon squaring off again. I just completely did not think that that Tatum was going to be an easy out this far. But shout out to Mount Vernon for getting that one. The guys at Malakoff, my Malakoff Tigers, 62-0 over the Dallas Madison Trojans. Fellas, 62-0 over Dallas Madison. Malakoff, y'all Vince, they're number 2 on the list. Come on. They're number 2. They should be number 2 all year.
Here we go. Hey, there's no polls right now. There's no polls.
There's
I know. I'm just saying. I'm making reference to it.
But they got an interesting matchup coming up this week, though.
Yeah. Winsboro 28, Atlanta 14. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this out. Eddie's not here today, but shout out to Eddie. That region up there, LE and Atlanta, they did not put up a good show at all whatsoever. Winsboro 28, Atlanta 14. We're gonna get into LE here in a minute, but no, they did not put up a good show at all. And represent them. And that theory has always been correct. They didn't play enough of a lot of people this particular year. We thought they weren't as strong as they were, and they haven't been. So just letting you know.
I think I said that. I think someone who was that Vince said. Oh wait, Vince, did you say they were stronger?
You know what? If we're going to do this, then I'm about to laugh at y'all Tatum because I left that Tatum thing alone because I told y'all about Tatum and they crashed.
You did.
Hey.
I did. Hey, I'll take my L. I'll take my L. Liberty Yellow,
It's okay. We can win and lose.
Derek's got us some information on the Mount Vernon game. He said it's going to be in Forney on Friday at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Versus West.
Okay, we appreciate that. We appreciate the update for that game.
Appreciate it.
Mount Vernon versus West and 47 o'clock. Big time game, Malakoff versus Winsboro. And we know what happened to Winsboro this year. They played Mount Vernon, beat Mount Vernon, played Pottsboro, got beat by Pottsboro. Pottsboro continues to roll.
About 1 point.
And then you got Malakoff just rolling all year. So this is that Winsboro team that's a lot of diversity. This is the game you want to pay attention to. Malakoff is really good. They've been steamrolling everybody. Only lost 1 game all year. They put up dang near 60 points a game. You got Winsboro battling some adversity. Only lost 2 games this year. This is going to be a good matchup. I can't wait to watch it.
This should be a good one. All right, let's roll up to 3A Division I Region 3. We got
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Vince.
I'm hoping in this region that you might get that rematch between Pottsboro and Whitesboro. I'm sorry, Winsboro.
Winsboro.
Yeah. But
Malakoff
they gotta make it past Malakoff. Yeah, I know, Corey. How Malakoff? He can't let it go.
No, they're not, man.
He can't let it go. He can't shake it.
All right, let's go.
Let's
go,
Region.
Let's go, Region 3. We got Diboll with a win over Boona, 24-21. Columbus over Lorena, 24-21.
It's a good win.
It's a good win right there. Lorena defending state champions out in the first round.
Win.
Yeah. We got Orangefield over Shepherd, 55-12. Chris, you got some thoughts on that one?
No, not that one. I was just going to talk about the next one, the Cameron Yo.
Okay, go for it.
One. Cameron Yo, solid team. They've been scoring from 40 to 70 points a game, all over the place. They did get whooped once. I can't remember who it was, Waco La Vega or someone like that. But Yoakum surprised some people and stayed in this one. So a good loss for Yoakum, only lose by 11. And then, of course, Hallettsville, defending state champion, they're coming up against a ton of graduation. So they surprised some people. They beat some good teams early on. When I saw them matched up against Franklin, I thought, oh, no, that's it. End of the road. And it was.
Bye-bye. It's a tough matchup. At
Tough,
Franklin's
very
on a
tough.
roll right now.
Yeah, Franklin's rolling.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we'll go down below that one, and Franklin's going to match up against Anahuac.
Anahuac.
Anahuac, to get that one right. They beat let's see, they beat Westwood, Palestine Westwood. That's one of our schools, 42-14.
Westwood
So
had a good year. It's one of the
yeah,
highlights.
solid.
They had a
Yeah.
Yeah,
great year.
solid win from West, or solid season from Westwood. They haven't made the playoffs in a while, so it's good. It's good to them. They made it in there. So that's going to leave the bottom half here. We've got Hitchcock over Little River Academy, 22-14, and we have looks like Woodville and East Chambers. That game is today at 2 p.m. So that game has not been decided yet. So the winner of Woodville East Chambers will be playing Hitchcock.
Hitchcock
kinda
is
in-
playing great football right now. Basketball school. Hitchcock is playing some good
Yeah, to
football.
beat
So
Referio on the first game. I have a question for
Yeah.
you guys. See if you know it. The mascot for Little River Academy.
Leopards.
Mm.
You would think it'd be something like that. No,
Yeah.
it is the Bumblebees.
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 We're gonna sting you, and then they'll die. Okay, that's interesting. Nice trivia there.
Bumblebees. I was Samsonite. I was way off.
Yeah.
Who wants to do Region 4? You want to start it? Want me to start it?
I mean, do you want to do it or you want me to do it?
I can do the first half. You the second half. You want to do it that way?
All right, that's cool.
All right. Let's see here. We got Lano 44, Katuya 0. Let's see here. Goliad, big time win over Rio Hondo, 60-10. You know how Goliad's going to come out there and represent. Let's see here. This is Jordanton 28, Luling 20 to 0.
Luling? Yeah.
Yeah, Lulling.
Okay.
I know
Then
Chris is gonna
okay.
want to talk about that next game.
Right.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
The
this-
next game.
What you got
Vanderbilt
for us?
You wanna-
Industrial,
Yeah.
against
This is
Calfury.
like his Chapel Hill. This is
Yeah,
his
he
team.
was waiting
Right.
for this.
Yeah, I
He was
am a
waiting for
graduate
this.
at Vanderbilt Industrial.
There we go.
It was 2A then. It's 3A now. It's a good program. We do a coaches show, obviously, and this was an interesting game. They went out pretty early, and then Falfurious had one good drive, right? And it looked like things were going to turn because they get Industrial gets the kickoff, returns it like 65 yards, but fumbles the ball, hands it back to them. Very next play, the same guy that returned it, Hosey, who returned the ball and fumbled, he intercepts the ball on the next play, so avoided that threat. Then went into halftime. Big lightning delay for it seemed like forever. so this one eventually got over, but I'm looking for Industrial to keep going. I think they're slated to match up against Goliad, and those are two teams that are very well acquainted with each other, both on the opposite sides of Victoria, and play each other a lot. That's going to be a great area matchup.
All right,
Don't go
they'll get was it Jordanton next? Jordanton next. So that Goliad matchup would be the third round game.
Right.
They're matched up against Lano, which they're the winners of their district, and I've heard that they're pretty
Industrial
tough.
came in second in district to Edna. Edna whooped them pretty good. So ideally, what they're looking to do is rematch against Edna, at the top of the region. But we'll see. That's going to be a tough road.
Okay.
All right.
All
Speaking
right.
of Edna, go ahead, Vince.
Edna 10-1 Edna blanks Lyford. I hope I said it right. Lyford 52-0. So they're tough. We also got Randolph beating Hondo 28-9, and London beating San Diego 28-6.
I like both of those towns.
Yeah. And then you got Blanco beating Poteet. That's Mesquite. Poteet.
No, that's not Mesquite.
That's not Mesquite.
No, that's Region 4.
That's
No,
right.
there's a
My
Mesquite
bad.
Poteet, and there's a Poteet,
Yeah.
and there's a Mesquite. And you
Okay,
were right. It's Blanco.
Right.
Blanco. I was right with Blanco.
You were right.
Right.
I should have used my southern slang on that one. Yeah. All right.
There you
So
go.
Blanco and Poteet, 41-14. They just flipped the numbers there. No surprises here. A lot of beat downs. So let's get to
That's region. That's a Division 1 3A.
yeah.
We got Joe's got us a comment here. Let's bring Joe's comment on. We got Lano and Edna are the strong teams in this region, and Goliad's also good. Thanks for the
Okay.
insight, Joe. You might not. You might want to mention Industrial though, because
Yeah.
shout out to Chris's team.
Right.
It's okay. Edna's definitely a strong team. I don't know. I think Industrial can hang with Lano pretty easily, but I don't know. I can't say anything. I don't want to say anything negative about my team.
Oh, that's pretty much division. Anything else you want to add this one, since you got a personal touch in this particular classification, Chris?
No, just like I said, it's my region, the Gulf Coast region. So it's a lot of the teams I get to see a lot of the coaches I know real well. So it's always exciting. Gosh, I just can't wait for them to get to that next level. This first by district is usually the worst round of the playoffs. There's very few great games, although as we get into the upper classifications, there's several overtime games. So that's going to be, pretty interesting as we get into the bigger schools.
All right. Well, let's move
Okay.
up to 4A Division 2.
4A. That's what we're waiting on.
All right. So Brett, who do we got covering Division 2 or 4A?
We got 4A Division 2. Should be Corey and Vince.
Sweet.
Got it. Let's
I
go.
promise we won't hold y'all too long. We like to argue.
That's okay. I spent some time in this area too, in Wimberley. So I'll have a few
Okay.
things to say about that.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they're on a pretty much a collision path with the region winner of Region 3. I think Wimberley's probably. We'll talk about it, but I think they're kind of heading above everybody else down that way.
I can't wait. Let's go. We want to start this off. Vince, you want to go or you want me to go?
I'll let you start it off, sir.
All
I
right.
catch
Let's
that
see.
bottom half.
All right, gotcha. So, all right, we'll start out with Region 1, the Class 4A Division 2, Region 1. Monaghan's 27, Leveland 15. And then shout out to Ferris, 31-21 over Steiner. So Monaghan's and Ferris is going to square off here the next round. Big time shout out to Ferris. Ferris is not, they haven't been very good at football, but right on that cups of East Texas and that Dallas area, they're pretty fast. They got some fast kids, good athletic program. So shout out to Ferris for getting in the second round there. So that's been brewing up for some time. Seminole put up 78 basketball number, put up 78-15, 78-13 over Mountain View. So that's a big one there as well. Then we have Godly over Greenwood 26-7. So Seminole and Godly we squaring off there in the next round. Big shout out to Hershey over Hillsboro 48-14. They're still rolling. So no matter what, the Hershey those guys are gonna keep rolling there as well. Of course, you already know the Hershey Huskies. They advanced to the semifinals last year against Stevensville. So they had a lot of talent, a lot of speed. They were a young team. And so they're going to continue to roll right now in Region 1. And we have West Plains 56, Pecos 7. So Hershey, West Plains will play in Fair Park Stadium in Childress. So it's 7 o'clock on Thursday. So that game's already leveled up there. When we got Glen Rose over Graham 55-14. Glen Rose, a good basketball school, good football school as well. Of course, Fort Stockton 20 and Perryton 14. So Glen Rose is going to play Fort Stockton on this coming Thursday at 7 p.m. as well. So both of those games are matched up and locked and loaded. So this region is shaping up to be pretty exciting.
I think Hershey's
Hershey.
kind of the favorite here in this region. I think they're. I mean, honestly, it's going to be tough for them once they get past this particular region. But I think they're on track with a matchup with one of our Northeast Texas schools
Okay.
in that semifinal.
All right, so we got Aubrey with a win over Lincoln, 63-12. We got Center, Center. That's. Hey, I was telling y'all about Center. Center beat Liberty Yellow. I also told y'all about Liberty Yellow. So I as much as I like to enjoy this win, I have to take this one on the chin as well. Beating Liberty Yellow 67-21.
Big shout out to Ricky Joe Meeks, the center. Good season. I'm glad you guys are winning. That's a good win, man. That's a good win.
Yeah, real good.
Looking at this bracket, guys, I like Center Pleasant Grove matchup possibly in the third round. That would be a juicy one.
Let me get. So we got Caddo Mills and Sanger. Looks like this was a good one. 69-55. Okay, all right. And then we got Pleasant Grove beating Van. I would have loved to seen that go the other way, just so I could have something to talk about with Eddie. But he get the gloat for a little bit longer. 48-13.
All right, guys, we got a chat here real quick, asking about Muleshoe football. Yes, we're now on 4A, so we have done that, but this show will be on. You could go back and watch it.
You can go back and catch
their score. Thanks for tuning in, though. We got lots of 4A and 5A.
Actually,
6A.
we just went over that too. So
so
only about 10 minutes ago.
But thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you.
What did I look for? Pleasant Grove over Van, and then we got Gilmer beating out Russ 25-7. I mean, Gilmer does what Gilmer does. Yeah. Thought Gilmer would have dropped 70, but Sunnyvale versus Gainesville. Oh, I'm sorry. Gainesville beat Sunnyvale 35-24. I read it from that way. So, and then we got Carthage doing what Carthage does, beating Pittsburgh 42-7. Ain't no stopping Carthage. Then we got Van Alstein beating Ford 55-27.
Then their reward is they get to play Carthage.
Carthage, exactly. Like, all right. So I'm just gonna say it like this: is there any stopping Carthage in this bracket here?
No, I don't think so. I think the only thing that stops Carthage is Carthage itself. Could
Gainesville surprise Gilmer?
I don't think so. I think and I talked about the top bracket. I think it's Gilmer, Carthage down here, and I think it's Pleasant Grove Center up top. For this region, I think
so maybe looking at Pleasant Grove, a matchup with Pleasant Grove versus Carthage. Maybe?
Now, I will say Caddo Mills. I will say Caddo Mills is good, so it's not a bye week for Pleasant Grove.
No,
Caddo Mills is a very good team. It's going to take a good effort.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
Eddie's not here. Eddie's not here to defend his Pleasant Grove team. If his son's blocking, shout out to him though. He's visiting Oklahoma State today.
He's at Oklahoma State. Okay.
So shout out to Eddie. I mean, it's not Texas, but we'll forgive him.
Well, they might be on the list next. Who knows? They might come up on the list.
Yeah. What you got, Chris?
I have to say, I don't. I hate to be one of these that just says Carthage all the time.
I know.
But
you can say Carthage.
What can you say? What can you say in this? I mean, they're just that much better than everybody else. I think in Division II. I don't see them.
Yeah, I think they get out of that region easily. They get out of that half of the bracket. They get to the state championship. So once they get there, they may get a little challenge.
Right.
Yeah, and then it kind of, I didn't realize this, but then I saw watching some highlights last night that Scott Surratt's son is a freshman and he's a quarterback. And he threw a touchdown pass. I'm like, oh gosh, he's going to be good.
That means 4 more championships in a row.
Yeah, I mean, just line them up.
Right.
Somebody got to do it. Somebody got to take them down.
The cycle's got to stop eventually. That's how it was in Jacksonville for about 10 years.
Eventually.
So I didn't realize that. I mean, I knew I had kids obviously, but I just didn't know what ages they were. But they did make a big deal about that. He threw his first varsity touchdown pass in the game last night. So,
right. That's another big region too. Region 3 is a big region too.
Yeah, you got some. Your team didn't fare very well in that their opening game, Corey. maybe in morning here is your Jasper team.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take over Region 3. Let's see, Silsby, the Silsby Tigers, of course. Silsby's good, by the way.
That could be the matchup, Corey. That
And
could be
that could
Silsby
very well be
Carthage.
the matchup. That could very well be the matchup. Silsby dominant over Columbia 34-10. Smithville 24-14 over Gatesville. Belleville 27-20 over West Orange Starks, that was a big time matchup either way it goes. Belleville was good last year. West Orange Stark was not as dominant as they used to be. But still 27-20 win of West Orange Stark. That's always good.
We got a chat here, Corey. We've got Joe. Carthage is good. What about Gilmer? Can they give him a game? What are your thoughts?
No.
I don't think so. Gilmer is good. I will say they're a good team. I just don't think this year they have what Carthage has. They're not have the horses.
I think Gilmer is a year away from being the normal Gilmer team that we're used to because they're still young this year too.
Yeah.
They're still very good and very dangerous, but they're not Carthage. Carthage is on a different level. They are the
Yeah.
best team in 4A period. I'm not talking about Division 2. I'm saying 4A period. So that's just that's it. They're a machine. They're rolling right now. I don't know if anybody's stopping them thus far. They might be the best team in East Texas, period. And I say that to Longview because anyway, let's not get on that.
Yeah.
Let's not get on that. But let's keep the ball rolling here. Madisonville, big time win over LaGrange, 41-21. So the Belleville Madisonville game will be a very good one. Madisonville's pretty good. We got Waco Conley. The Cadets are rolling over Giddings, 45-18. And then, of course, said Royal got beat by Hampshire, Finette, and 40-10. Waco Conley's going to win this one easily. Conley's got some very good athletes, some very good football players on that team. They're playing in Willis this coming Friday at 7:30. So I don't suspect Conley's going to not come out of that one, but they have some people to beat. Cuero 13, Salado 7, and then of course Sealy all over Jasper 31-15. So some two familiar foes, Sealy and Cuero, are actually facing off. So could we see a Cuero Conley matchup for sure? I don't doubt that. I would say Conley would be better, but I don't think so.
Well, I tell you, Cuero's good. They're definitely good. They're not Jordan Whittington good,
Right?
but Coach Fekosh, who I knew from Wimberley days when he was an assistant there, he's got them back believing in themselves. He's got that team rolling. I was shocked in this result that it took overtime for them to win because I thought they were head and shoulders above that Salado team, but turns out they weren't. But at the end of the day, they figured out how to get the win, and they're moving forward.
That's all it takes.
Okay. Yeah.
Look at Mineola. That's all it takes is to get in. All you want to do is get in the tournament and compete. And thus far, they've beaten a decent team. Then they didn't shock the world, beat the Jefferson team. So,
Okay.
that's all it takes.
Going down here to this Region 4, looks like we got Wimberley beating out Young Man's Leadership 81-0.
Well, I tell you, I've been watching Wimberley a lot. Obviously, I lived in the district for 6 years. My boys played there, and they're good. They're really good. They've been putting up a lot of big points, but they haven't had a lot of competition yet. So I'm waiting to see them go up against one of the state powers. That will tell me, are they the Wimberley Texans of old that won a state championship and then went to another one?
And they lost their quarterback, moved to China Spring, which, that was a nice plug and play there for China Springs to keep them, where they were from last year. But hadn't seemed to matter so far. I agree, Chris. I think that's a possible Silsby matchup could be in their future for that semifinal game. That could be their first real test. I don't really see anybody in Region 4 that should test them at all. They should have a pretty easy time of it.
I mean, that Navarro team is good. They're putting up a lot of numbers too, but it's the same pretty weak district. And, they did lose to Wimberley. So, So we'll see. We'll see how that one goes.
All right, Joe's got a comment here for us. Got Region 3, Silsbee and Belleville are good. Can Cuero compete against Silsbee and Belleville?
Mm.
What do you think, Corey?
I don't think so.
I don't
I mean,
think so.
Silsby's dominant.
Yeah.
If I had to rank them, they probably be that right underneath Carthage as far as how dominant they've played. And I don't know if Cuero's really good, and Belleville's really good too. Belleville was kind of young last year, and they've matured into that role this year. So Silsby and Bell, they're very good. I don't know if
I
Cuero's
haven't seen Silsbee and Belleville in live this year, but again, Cuero's young, so again, they haven't had a solid test yet. We'll see how they do. I think they have a puncher's chance, but everything's going to have to go right because they're pretty young.
And Madisonville is going to be a tough opponent for Belleville in the next round. They're a solid team. And also, I think, of course, Sealy is going to be tough. I think they're both going to have tough matchups to get there. Can they get to that game with Silsbee is going to be a good question for them.
Good point. Good point.
So,
moving along here, what do we have next? Orange Grove beating out Raymondville 35-21. Gerald beating out Divine 32-14. And then you have Port Isabel beating out Ingleside 28-13. Going down.
yeah, that's, you got, looks like maybe District 13 is pretty strong. You got Gerald, the fourth place team, coming out of that Wimberley district. So to me, that tells me something. That means if their district is strong and they ran through their district, then this bracket shouldn't be very difficult for Wimberley. We'll look down below here, but I think we're going to see some of the same on the bottom half.
Okay. Bottom half down here, we got Sinton beating. Oh wait, hold on. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry. Sinton beating Grula 49-7. Bandera losing to Vista 67-6.
When you see that's District 13 right there.
That's
third place district beating the runner up 67-6. So that's Wimberley's district. So you're telling me if their district is the toughest one in this region and they blew through it, they're not going to see much competition here probably.
Okay.
We'll see another district like that here in region.
But if they see each other again, I wonder how that plays out. If you end up seeing that same team in it, because having to beat a team a second time, things change. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. We got Bishop beating out West Oso. Am I saying it right? Oso. 38-8. And then final score here, Navarro beating Paracel. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Paracel?
And Joe's got another
50-8.
note. Joe's got another note too as well, Vince. He said Cuero lost to Cal Allen. Tough test for Cuero, but you're right, young team. I mean, Cal Allen's one of those teams, and they're in Division I. We'll talk about them. I've heard a lot about them, but the main knock on them is, are they good because who they've played? They haven't played a whole lot of competition. Cuero's a Division II, which they're still a good team, but that'll be the test with them. I think. Can they come out of that region and match up against the other regions? I think that's going to be them.
I have a 4AD2 quiz.
Okay. All right.
What professional wrestler played his high school ball at Silsbee?
Ooh.
Mark Henry.
Is it Mark Henry? Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And where is his son playing now?
Oh.
Man,
Wait a minute. This is a question.
I saw something about
I just saw something about his son too.
Oh my god!
Let me go back to Google.
It's not. Oh my god! I can't
I,
remember.
I
I'm
did
not
see
gonna
it, but I can't remember where it
Yeah,
I
was.
believe it's
I
Lake
saw him in
Travis.
his jersey and everything, but I can't tell you
Lake,
who
Lake
it was.
Travis. That's what it is.
Lake
Lake
Travis.
Travis.
Lake
Okay.
That's what
Travis.
it is. Lake
Lake
Travis.
Travis.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I saw that game.
Yeah, Joe says Wembley is the team to beat in Region 4. So
Okay.
he
No doubt.
agrees with us. Do you agree with that, Chris? I know we talked about.
Yeah.
Did you notice how that district they all won? So to me, that shows me that that's the toughest district probably of the districts in that region. And if they
Right.
went through that district pretty easily, they shouldn't have any problems, getting through this one.
Yeah, I agree. They are the strongest team out there. I do want to see them against some of the other regions and some of the other state competitors, but I'm already viewing them as getting to that level.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts on 482, fellas, before we move on to 480 Division 1?
No, it's Carthage. Carthage. Yeah, they'll take it.
And I think that one, to me, I can easily pick 4 teams I think that will make it there. I think it's Hershey, I think it's Carthage, I think it's Silsbee, I think it's Wimberley. I think those 4 are my 4. And it's easy to pick those. It's not
Yeah.
like it's hard in some of the brackets, but I think this
So I
particular
will say
bracket.
this. Not trying to cut you off, but I was just looking at that district. Vista lost to Wimberley only by 3 points. So I'd be interested to see them match up again. It may go differently,
Mhm.
you know.
It could.
Or Wembley could destroy them. I don't know.
They do have to get there. That's the
Yep.
main thing.
You have to get there. You're right. You do have to get there. So yeah. We're moving
We got
on.
All right.
Division 1 now.
Let's go to Division 1. We got something to talk about with Division 1. We got
Here we
some
go.
things to talk about.
Here we go.
Yes.
Ding
4A.
ding. Let's go.
On the
4A
smoke,
Division 1. Let's roll with it. We got Big Spring over Riverside, 38-35.
Mm-hmm.
Wichita Falls over Dumas, 15-10. Match up with them, Big Spring and Wichita Falls in the second round. We got Brownwood over Irvin, 63-0. Canyon over Burke Burnett, 42-14. So Brownwood will match up against Canyon. We'll go down to the bottom half here. And we'll see Randall over Springtown, 31-7. Estacado over Bowie, 54-7. Decatur over Pampa, 55-0. And Andrews over Austin El Paso, 34-14. So that's a Randall Estacado matchup. Decatur and Andrews. Region 1, I think it's going to be the weakest region of the 4, my opinion. Because whoever's going to match up with Region 2, it's going to be really hard for them to compete. Region 2 is really strong. I think Brownwood's got a good chance here.
Decatur
Decatur's a very good team as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I think. Y'all got any comments on that region?
No, I mean I agree with what you said there.
I think it's Decatur and Brownwood for the most part.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to do Region 2?
I'll do it. So you got China Springs, no surprise here, beating Western Hills 72-7. You got Kaufman beating out Wilmer Hutch 41-0. And
The other East
Kaufman's
Texas school.
reward is to play China Springs. Congratulations.
Kaufman East Texas school, Corey. Are they now East Texas?
They are.
East Texas school now?
They're right on the cusp.
Oh,
Well, they get to play China Springs, unfortunately.
Yes.
Let's see here. I drop off it. All right.
It's big games
Lake Forth edging out Alvarado 23-20. And then you have Carter beating out Sulphur Springs barely 37 to
And Sulphur
33.
Springs was
Man, I've been
beating
on Sulphur
Carter.
Springs.
Yeah, Sulphur Springs was beating Carter the whole game, and then Carter ended up winning.
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
Third quarter.
Yeah.
That's
So just to show you, third quarter, Carter put up 22 points. That's how they started that.
well,
Uncle Mo, man, Uncle Mo, he may show up late. It don't matter to him. When he step in the building, it's go time.
When
So-
Uncle
well,
shows
we
up,
talked
you good
and
to
we
go.
talked about how we thought Sulphur Springs might be able to make some kind of run.
Yeah,
Their run ends early.
it's early, man.
And
God,
that could have been a good region matchup right there.
Oh, it would have. It would have. So we got Salina, and they beat out Community 35 to 13.
I'm Salina.
Kennedale beating out La Vega 10 to 7. I don't know. You know what? A game like this, I would have liked to shown up and see what that was like. To beat them 10 to 7.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Man.
Moving on, we got Anna beating Panther Creek 62 to 24. Anna is always
Anna.
and forever. Always and forever. You got
Anna.
Stephenville being Dunbar 56 to 20.
Ooh,
Pretty much
man,
in that region.
There's some
It's
juicy
Anna
ones.
and it is, but it's gonna be Anna and China Springs.
I'm just gonna
battling
call that region.
I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna
This is
gavel
the
that one.
heavyweight division. This is some. I'd say right now you got 3 of the 4 of these games to me could produce a region champion.
Yeah,
I think the weakest game is the Lake Worth Carter.
It is.
I think that whoever wins that game is going to get beat by the next. I think Kaufman and China Spring are both better than them. We know Kaufman's pretty good. China Spring, we know how good they are.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I feel it. I'm gonna say this. I feel it. Anna over Stevensville. Watch it. Book it.
I'm telling you.
Look
I know
it.
that's gonna happen.
Book
Listen,
it.
I'm telling you, this is gonna come down to China Springs and Anna.
Anna
I'm
over
not moving.
Stevensville.
I don't care what happened. I'm not moving from that rock.
Those 380 corridor schools.
I'm gonna dial that hill.
Anna Salina square off, and lo and behold, they're around the corner from each other. Those three know each other very well. That's some good football up that way. And they could definitely square off against each other. They're probably playing McKinney. I would definitely say they're playing McKinney. So nonetheless, hey, watch out for those teams. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see. That's going to be a good region. Would y'all like to talk Region 3?
I would love to talk Region 3.
Do it.
Let's go talk some region. Let's go talk some Region 3. We got some familiar foes in Region 3. Let's start at the top. We got Chapel Hill over Livingston, 45-36. Now, first off, I've seen some chatters from some other teams saying how Chapel Hill barely beat Livingston, yada, yada. Those that don't know, I call Chapel Hill games on Texan Live. And so I was there in person. When you play your JV and freshman teams, like a quarter and a half to rest and get into the next round, the score is not going to be what it actually should have been. At 45-12, Chapel Hill pulled the reins back. Okay. This game was not close. Chapel Hill dominated this game. So those of you that want to say that Chapel Hill barely snuck by, no.
Come see about us. How about that?
If you want to watch this game, what Livingston did is they tried to run as much clock as possible. They weren't trying to win the game. They wanted the score to be close. They tried to run as much clock as possible, and they just drove it down. Even though knowing that playing that way, they weren't going to be able to win, they still continued to do that.
If you think Chapel Hill ain't for real, come play.
I'm gonna say this because I love this part of the year because a lot of teams always want to boast the other schools and this, that, and the other. Oh, we play a tough schedule. Everybody's playing good football. Some teams may not be playing their best football, but everybody's playing good football. You made the playoffs. You're 10-0. Lo and behold, you're 9-2. Whatever your record is, that's great, right? You can never discredit someone else's region because of what you've seen in week 2 or week 3. Or maybe Livingston scored on the first drive, got you. took Chapel Hill 3 plays to score, then took another interception and touchdown. The game was over at that point. I'm not Livingston played. They were a very well-coached football team. Chapel's just outmatched them hands down. Okay, let's just say that. We'll get in some of these other scores here when Brett talk about it. I don't want to talk about some other scores too or some other games because we can get disrespectful what we want. I'm going to say face Saturday.
All right, so we'll go. Bay City will match up against Chapel Hill in the next round. They won 57-0 over Yates. So that game will be Friday night, 7 p.m. in Humble, Texas.
Almost,
yes, sir. Go ahead, Chris. What you got?
I was going to say, don't sleep on that Bay City squad. I saw them play against El Campo. You may know El Campo versus Bay City is the oldest continuous rivalry in the state, 110 years or 14 years or something. This is a super, super young Bay City squad, but I think it just kind of hints at what's going to happen soon. It's going to be a good team, and it could challenge this year. We just don't know yet.
And here's, I think this is going to be probably Miss Pasama. Those boys deserve to rest. What sense does it make to run up the score? Yes, it is. And she's exactly right. Exactly right. There wasn't any reason to. We want to get the rest and get in healthy.
Honestly, I don't care about what they saying. Hey, we moving on to the next round, and we,
You don't want to disrespect your opponent. You want to keep it moving, move on to the next round, respect the next opponent.
We're going on. That's what that was about.
Things has been said.
We took care of business, and then we got out of there.
Well, let's go down to the next half of the bracket as we got Lumberton over Palestine, 54-29, and then Stafford. 50-6 winner over Houston Fur. That's going to match up as Lumberton and Stafford the next round. That's the top half of the bracket. We'll move down and get the rest of the bracket, then we'll discuss a little bit. Brazosport with a win over Houston Washington, 27-18. Lindale over Vider, 45-23. So Lindale will match up against Brazosport in the next round. El Campo with a win over I think it's Houston
Worthing.
Worthing. 49-7.
I'm sorry.
Worthing. Yes, Houston Worthing. 49-7. And then Kilgore over Little Cypress Mauriceville 28-6. So
who's all of that district? It was a District 10. Let's see. District 10 had Vider, Little Cypress Mauriceville. Who else did they? They had Lumberton.
They had a lot of people out.
Yeah, it's a lot of people out. But I saw a lot of people saying that district, don't sleep on that district. And I don't,
No, anyway. You can sleep on them.
Anyway.
Now, who you shouldn't sleep on is El Campo. Their head coach.
Right, exactly. We know the teams are not to sleep on. Yeah, we know. We can see that.
So now, just looking at what's left, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 teams out of District 12. Shows that's pretty strong. And then you've got 3 teams out of District 9 and then Lumberton. So District 11 completely out. District 10's got 1 left. Everything else is from 9 and 12. and Chris, you probably have a little more knowledge on District 12, like you said, with the El Campo, Bay City. Are there any of those other teams that can win this next round, or what do you think?
No, I think El Campo, Bay City has an outside shot. El Campo's solid. Ruben Owens, they graduated most of their line, but again, you probably know head coach Chad Worrell. He was the coach at Brock who took them to state. So he's got them going. He's got them believing. He's got the young kids playing the line, and
they got a tough matchup though. El Campo's going to play some. Kilgore is nasty, dirty. They're physical, so that's going to be a great matchup for a second round game.
I'm gonna tell you right now. We don't talk about them a lot. I'm gonna give Lindale some respect. Okay, they are a well coached football team.
Nice.
And they will play this sport very well. They are a 2 or 3 round team, no matter what. They know how to play. They've been here before. Shout out to Lindale for winning and keep winning. It could be a Kilgore Lindale game.
It could be a rematch
game. This region's good. That's all I'm gonna say. This region's good. Either way it goes, I like it.
All right. Well, let's slide down and check out Region 4. Corey, you want to grab that one?
Oh, yeah. Let's get in there. All right, let's see here. We got Canyon Lake 41 over Uvalde. Shout out to Canyon Lake, Uvalde making the playoffs this year. Of everything that happened, shout out to them making the
Yeah,
playoffs this year and keep rolling. That's a win regardless. So shout out to that team
absolutely.
for making the playoffs and getting some different light there in that community. Let's see, Alice 26, Calhoun 35. So Canyon Lake and Calhoun will square off this coming Thursday at 7 o'clock for that game. Of course, we got Born 42, Taylor 13.
Corey,
What's
I
up?
can help you out here. That's Bernie.
That's
Bernie.
Bernie.
Okay.
Bernie.
Oh, yeah. I said Bernie.
Bernie.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. All right. Didn't see that one, but Bernie 42, Taylor 13. So my bad. Let's see. I'm just going to say Pleasanton beating Toloso Midway.
Yep.
All right. 42-20. So Bernie and Pleasanton will square off here that particular round. Let's see here: Lavernia 42, LaFera 0, and then Somerset 27, Lampasas 17. So they'll square off in the following round. And a big shout out to Cal Allen 30-6 over Jones, and then of course Davenport over Fredericksburg. I'm sorry, 36-6. So Cal Allen, of course, they are the number one team right now. So they got the longest winning streak, and there's no question about them rolling. They'll continue to roll in that region, no doubt. So
I think I like Cal Allen and Bernie to match up in the region final in that particular region myself.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
so. The interesting story to me is Port Lavaca Calhoun, the Sand Crabs. They started off, I think, 0-5. And again, it's the same story you're hearing over and over. It's all young kids, but Coach Whitaker, he plays, he throws once or twice a game, whether he needs to or not. But it is literally running every single play, and it takes a while. It's that what do they call it, slot T, yeah, and that's so confusing one to learn. But now, as you can see from that score, they're learning it, and
yeah.
then it's even more
Mhm.
confusing to defend because it blows your mind trying to watch it.
The one team I want to highlight in this region that could be a possible upset team would be Davenport, San Antonio Davenport. It's a new school,
Mhm.
and you know how those sometimes those new schools pop up and they all of a sudden come out of nowhere. So that could be a tough game for Cal Allen. I'd like to watch that and see how close that is. But Davenport could be one that could get an upset early over Cal Allen. I think the Cal Allen will win, but it should be a good one though.
Yeah, I second that thought, Brett, because like you said, at some of the higher levels, like Katie Paytow, they come from nowhere, win a state championship. Who was it? Humble Summer Creek did the same thing. They just brand new school, boom, they're in the state championship. So you never know who moved into that district when they split the schools.
that's tough. In that region, and that particular region, of course, we discussed it with Cal Allen. I don't, it's a talk. Even though I'm a homer, we're Chapel Hill guys. Even though we're homer there, every week is going to be a tell of the tape, no matter what. We've seen how good Kilgore has been. We've seen how good those other teams are in those regions. We know East Texas pretty well. I know it's East Texas Speed, but those teams they've got to play. They've got to play their best football, and I think Chapel Hill is playing their best football as of late in the season. And like I said, I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch. It's a week by week thing. We all know this from last year. It's definitely a
Yeah.
week by week matchup. So, but I think this is something that could evolve into something else. But we don't call it the District of Doom for nothing. Those top three teams, they all started out in state ranked this year. So Kilgore, Lindale, and Chapel Hill all started out state ranked, and there's a reason why. And they're flexing their muscle right now in their region, and they'll continue to flex their muscle at this point.
All right, so Joe's got my teams in this region are Bernie and Cal Allen, so it's good. And he's got Calhoun upset a good Alice team as his surprise team. So shout out to Calhoun and get with the upset. Thanks for the information, Joe. Appreciate you. All right, so overall thoughts of this region or this particular bracket. We've got the Region 3 and Region 2 by far the toughest to me. I think those are the two that will match up eventually. Depending, I don't know what teams it will be at this point. There's 3 or 4 from each bracket that could emerge out of there.
Yeah.
But I think the Region 2 and Region 3 winner will match up in the end.
Anna versus Stevensville is a trap game for Stevensville. Anna's very good. I think Anna takes that game.
Anna.
No.
Anna is going to take that game. You don't think, you know. Anna's going to take that game.
Out of all the classes and divisions, I think 4A D1 is probably the most wide open in that, you know, you could pick 4 teams that are going to be there at the end, and then you could pick 4 more and they'd have just as many, you know, just as likely to show up. It's pretty wide open.
Yeah, there's no definite favorite. Not like the D2 where Carthage is by far the favorite. So it's wide open, and like I said, you know, there's several teams in each bracket. There's not I couldn't pick one team in each bracket that I would say for sure is going to win. Like I could the region or Division 2. I think there's a lot of teams in there that could shuffle. I think as we kind of go the next round or two, then that number is going to narrow because there's going to be several that play early and eliminate themselves. So we'll see how it all shakes out.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to jump over to 5A.
All right.
Right.
StarGridiron.com. Access the complete history of Texas high school football, over 100 years of information, win-loss records, coaching histories, individual stats, records, and more. Lone Star Gridiron, the authority on Texas high school football.
Well, there you go. That cut off quick. Hey, Brett. All right. So on this next segment, I just want to mention the game once again before heading over and introducing Adam Sandoval. But
Okay.
And then if you want, you can hang around in that too.
All right.
Let me see here. Yeah, I just wanted to mention this. We have the Black Friday sale on the board game Legends. Now, you may or may not know this is the game where you can play the greatest high school football teams against each other based on their real statistics. So you can play Johnny Manziel's Kerrville Tybee team. You can play them against Eric Dickerson's Sealy Tigers team. You name it, any year, any team, any state. You can play them against Mater Day, whoever you want. Then we have Saturday Legends, which is the college football game. Again, any historical team. And then we have the Basketball Legends, which covers high school, pro, college, Olympic, every kind of basketball you can think of. We have over 2,000 teams across these libraries. Use the code BF22 to get 50% off the game, and that's at boardgamelegends.com. So now, if I can find my graphics here, I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to introduce Adam Sandoval. Hey, Adam, how you doing, man? Oh, I don't see a clear sound. There we go.
I'm doing great, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Good. If you could give us a little background on you.
Again, like you said, I'm Adam Sandoval. I've been covering high school sports for about 4 years now, you know, working with different organizations, Friday Night Glory, Prep Red Zone, and, you know, contributing with Texas Football Life this season. Recently, the past 2 years, I've been covering a lot of Houston and Dallas schools, going around the state, a little bit of Central Texas as well, and been covering as low as 3A ball all the way up into big 6A and 5A ball as well in the state of Texas.
Nice. Well, let's jump in. Do you have scores in front of you?
Yes, I do. We're going to start off with 5A Division 2.
Yeah, let's go with 5A D2, and I'll try to find the ticker while you get started.
All right. So 5A, 5A Division 2, Region 1, we got Canutillo and Amarillo Palo Duro. Canutillo takes the win 28-0 and shuts out Amarillo Palo Duro. Next game, Fort Worth Arlington Heights versus Frisco Independence. Arlington Heights wins it 40-21, and I believe that is their first playoff win in recent years against Frisco Independence, which was one of many Frisco ISD schools that made it into the playoffs this year. Abilene Wiley versus El Paso. Abilene Wiley just took care of El Paso, taking the win 54-14. I know the quarterback over there for Abilene Wiley plays, been starting as a freshman, and this is his second school in 2 years, and he's going to stay home at Abilene Wiley this year, and he's doing great things for the Bulldogs. Next game, Colleyville Heritage versus Frisco Emerson. Colleyville Heritage takes a win 35-14. Argyle and Fort Worth, O.D. Wyatt. Argyle was being Argyle. They're wanting to get back to that state championship game and win another one. And, knowing the Fort Worth ISD schools, looks like Argyle is just a little too much for O.D. Wyatt to put up a shutout against them. Wichita Falls Rider, 48-7 over El Paso Chapin. Took care of business. There's a lot of West Texas ball that is trying to come in, and what I would say is interfere with some DFW teams. Wichita Falls Rider is one of those teams that want to come in and, make a name for themselves and as wanting to take down those DFW powerhouses. Next game, Grapevine versus Lake Dallas. Grapevine is a big contender for the state championship this year. They've always been in the playoffs, but this year they have had a great season, and they took on Lake Dallas and won 31-14 and move on to the next round. And final game from round one in Region 1 was Abilene Cooper versus El Paso Andres, and Abilene Cooper 49-20 takes care of business, and they're headed on to the area round.
Yeah, I think the bottom half of that bracket to me looks the strongest because of that Argyle team and that Grapevine team. I think they're going to fight it out to see who gets out of this region.
Yeah, I like Argyle. I also like Abilene Wiley as well. I think off the top part of the bracket. That's the two that I would look to see in that regional final, just by looking at it right now.
What are your thoughts on that, Adam?
I do got Argyle coming out on that one. Like we said, Grapevine does, in my opinion, look like the best contender to try to possibly take them down. But Argyle, as we know, Argyle is Argyle, 11-0. They can make it back to that state championship game.
Nice. Well, let's jump down to Region 2 then.
All right, so Region 2, we got first game was Midlothian Heritage Dallas Kimball. Midlo Heritage is one of two teams in Midlothian ISD who both schools in Midlothian ISD have a great chance of having a deep run in both of their divisions as Midlothian's in Division 1, Heritage is Division 2, and Midlothian took down historical Dallas Kimball 42-14 to move on to the area round, and they're going to be facing Crandall, who defeated Marshall 48-47, a 1-point win. So Crandall makes it out, and they're going to have to face a tough Midlothian Heritage team. South Oak Cliff and Mansfield Summit, one of the best 5A games in the area for DFW, and South Oak Cliff squeaks by Mansfield Summit 12-7. We know South Oak Cliff is defending state champs, and they're trying to, go back to back. And essentially, what people are saying, they need to live up to the hype. And this season they started off rocky with a very, very tough schedule, but they took care of their district, won the district championship, and a lot of people I know are very concerning that they squeaked by Mansfield Summit 12-7, only 12-7, and with their next opponent, which is going to be Lovejoy, who Lovejoy defeated White House 38-34. That brings in a great rematch from last year in the area round. South Oak Cliff and Lovejoy. Lovejoy, I know they got a bitter taste in their mouth from last year. And South Oak Cliff, they're hungry for another state championship. So that area matchup between each other is going to be a great one to look forward to next year. And I believe that game is 3 o'clock next Saturday at Globe Life Stadium, or Globe Life Field.
Yes.
Yeah, after I saw South Oak Cliff at the beginning of the year struggle, I'm like, yeah, this team isn't the same team. It's not going to get back there. And everybody keeps telling me, no, they're still the man. You still got it. You still got to beat them. But I don't know. I don't see them getting past Midlothian if they get that far.
Yeah, that's going to be really the biggest test. Is I think will be as far as they can go. That will determine, in my opinion, who represents that region. Because, like I said, Midlothian on the other end, Heritage is dominating, the Division II side.
Mhm.
Next game we got is Ennis versus Woodrow Wilson. Ennis wins 55-23. Ennis was a team to look out for at the beginning of the year. Their non-district games, they really, made a name for themselves to let everybody know you got to look out for us. And, now they're moving on to the area round of the playoffs. Another great game that happened this week was Terrell versus Texas High from Texarkana. Terrell gets out of it 28-21 in overtime. A great, high school football classic. Terrell's been impressive in the last run of the regular season, and they continue to show that in the first round. And look forward to seeing them in the area round as they're going to take on Everman as they, went past Seagoville 51-7. And Everman is a team that very historic name behind them, and their history with the football program, and now they're back. And one of my great friends who's at that game said Everman is a team that I missed out this whole season, and he said they made him into a believer this year. So Everman is going to take on Terrell this year, and Terrell with a 6-5 record, and Everman's only 9-2. I still think Terrell could put up a fight with Everman.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Everman.
Yeah, this bracket's painful for me to look at. We cover District 8, and they just had a rough going. There was pretty much the top 4 teams all year was Hallsville, White House, Marshall, and Texas High. It was a battle down to the end. I had White House knocking off Texas High week 10. White House coming back losing to Marshall last week. They ended up costing them that top spot, and Texas High got to take that. Now, we have some real good followers from that Texarkana area. Eddie is one of our main followers that watch our show every week, and he gives us some good insight. And they lost their starting running back a few weeks ago, and that's when they started kind of declining. Just things weren't looking the same with Texas High. Not the same Texas High as they have been in the past. The powerhouse started the year and ranked in the top 10. And so that's kind of why they fell. I honestly was the one that shocked me the most. Not that one wasn't a shocker, but was what was it? Marshall losing to Crandall. I thought Marshall would have handed it to Crandall. I just thought that they were going to take that game. To me, and it's just from what I've seen, I like Melissa versus South Oak Cliff in the region final. I like those two teams. I think South Oak Cliff, just the sheer talent they've got in the field, is going to get them past Midlothian. I think that will be a good game, but I think they'll get past them. I think that's kind of what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think South Oak Cliff, like you said, I think Midlothian that game will be a real test once they see each other. But now that I'm realizing they do have kind of the same road as strength of competition as they did last year, and we know they've lost some players, and the biggest question was for South Oak Cliff this year was a quarterback, but their defense has been phenomenal when it came to district. Last week, I know last night's game, it wasn't. If you just look at the score, like I said, you would think they were phenomenal, but they didn't have Malik Muhammad. He was suspended for the first half of the game, and in the last 2 games, that's been South Oak Cliff's thing, is they have to be more disciplined than what they really, really are. That's what's held them back before in the past, and it almost held them back in the first round as well.
True. I don't know, Adam. Nice to meet you. I'm kind of just chimed in. I just kind of chimed in, but I guess this is our region. Here we talk about this quite a bit. I don't know if you guys was on the tailwind of the conversation. I know we kind of brushed over it. We talk about Texas High a lot, And we talked about that district being wide open. And I know we mentioned the White House. White House didn't win district. Texas High eventually wins it. But we were kind of guessing, that if Texas High was really that good or not. I guess we kind of got that answer. I mean, they're a good football team. I don't think they were as good as they've been in the past, but the Terrell win was impressive. And I think more importantly, Terrell hadn't been the same Terrell team as they were years and years and years ago. We all know that. But beating Texas High, that's a win for them. And then of course Everman beating Seagoville. So that's a matchup. That's a good matchup, a good game that I'm more looking at there because those two teams could possibly upset somebody, and especially Everman's playing good football as well. Terrell's also playing good football, so those two teams could upset. I don't think they could. I don't necessarily believe they can. Upset maybe Melissa. Melissa's playing good football, nonetheless, and I got some good intel there. But either way it goes, both of those schools are playing good football. So shout out to Terrell for beating Texas High. That they snuffed out that suspicion we had all along. But I'm with you on South Oak Cliff though. I think they're going to be okay.
All right, so we're ready to move on to Region 3?
Yeah. Let's jump into Region 3.
All right. So Region 3, Fort Bend Marshall versus Huntsville. Fort Bend Marshall, another great, which is what I think is going to be a great contender from Region 3.
Yeah, I think all roads go through Fort Bend Marshall.
Yeah. And they, the road ended for Huntsville there. Marshall took care of them 56-0. Waco University versus Austin McCallum, 34-21. Waco University is going to move on and face Fort Bend Marshall. Montgomery Lake Creek in Texas City. Lake Creek wins 25-7. Leander Rouse and Austin Crockett 48-14. Leander Rouse takes the win in that one. Belton took on Austin Northeast and put up a shutout 56-0. Belton moves on. And we got Brennan versus Dayton, and Brenham wins 42-28 over Dayton. Austin LBJ 69-0 over Elgin. As we know, Austin LBJ had a great season last year, and it ended in the state championship game. And they moved up this year.
Boo,
and
Austin
they've been taking
LBJ.
care of business.
Boo, Austin LBJ.
Good football team.
Hey, Adam, if you don't know, we're from Chapel Hill, and so that's who knocked us out last year in the semifinals. So I know they're a good team. I've seen it in person because we were on a roll last year. That game was an epic game, kind of ended with the play at the very end. But I think Austin LBJ's got a good chance to run the table in this region. I know y'all talked about up at the top with Fort Bend, but I think Austin LBJ they're good this year. So I'll be interested to see they match up at the end.
Yeah, and they've been living up. This is one team I'd say that's been living up to the hype because, like I said, they moved up into 5A this year, and a lot of teams and other schools and other media looked out and was really concerned. Like Austin LBJ is going to have to play up and not used to it, but they held their own in their district, and they're playing great football, and they put up a shutout in round 1. So it's going to be really interesting to see how far they can get, and that'll be a great game if they can able to see Fort Bend Marshall.
A lot of people think immediately when you go up in class that you're not in contention, but I think you're right. LBJ is going to be strong. I still don't think they're getting past Fort Bend Marshall, but as we talk about 6A later, look at what Dripping Springs is doing. They've just moved up and now they're kicking butt.
Yeah, I think it just depends on where you are and how it pertains to the region and area that you're in.
Well, and Dripping Springs moved into a district with Westlake and Lake Travis. So a lot of it depends on who moves into your district too.
That's true. It very is. The district matters. I mean,
yeah,
especially when you go to 6A. Yeah, especially with 6A because you still got the whole thing where you don't know which classification you're going to be in until the end. So that's a huge thing too.
And the final game from Region 3 still being played right now as we speak. Port Neches Grove versus Montgomery. Winner of that game is going to take on Austin LBJ. And, I mean, I'm going to go with Portnich's Grove, predicting to win that one to face
Yeah,
LBJ in the
PNG's
next
good.
round.
They're traditionally a good team, so I would probably guess that too.
All right, so now for Region 4.
Yeah.
All right, so Region 4, we got Liberty Hill and San Antonio Highlands. Liberty Hill moves on 63-17. Mercedes versus Mission Sharyland Pioneer, 37-27. The final score is Mercedes wins by 10 points to face on Liberty Hill in the area round. Alamo Heights versus Kerrville Tivy. Alamo Heights 64-27 gets the win. Gregory Portland took on Mission Veterans Memorial and put it on them 64-6. Corpus Christi Flower Bluff took on Roma and got them 6-21. Lockhart took care of San Antonio Burbank 62-7. Mission Sharyland faced off against Ed Couch Elsa and won 32-7. And San Antonio Veterans Memorial faced San Antonio Harlandale and won 38-7. And I'd say this is I've been used to bi-district games being blowouts because it's normally the 1 versus the 4. But Region 4 to me has been the only one that's been consistent blowouts. Every other region I've seen so far have been really, really close games.
Yeah, in Region 4, I'm looking at Alamo Heights. A lot of people are giving Gregory Portland the nod, saying that they're back in their power, but I don't know about that yet. I think they will challenge Alamo Heights, but I think Alamo Heights is the team in the region.
Yeah, I don't know enough about any of these teams to give too much of an opinion, but to me, just by looking at the way this bracket sits, it looks like District 15 is pretty strong. Overall, it looks like they got a couple of wins. So I would think Flower Bluff's got a good chance to do some damage.
They're solid.
They won that district, so I don't know. They maybe down below, and then and then of course Alamo Heights. You mentioned them. And also, Greg, both those teams coming off 64-point offensive performances. So that'd be interesting. I think Joe's got something for us here, Chris. He's got his thoughts on this region. He's got Flower Bluff and GP are his teams in this region.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, Flower Bluff is solid. I forgot to mention them for sure. And like I said, I just haven't seen enough about Gregory Portland. But a lot of people have been telling me I got to pay attention to those guys.
He could be the best linebacker we've seen in college football in a very, very long time.
So that really covers it up all for 5A Division II. I mean, a lot of great contenders coming in. I do think in my prediction, I think we'll get our state champion out of Region 2. In my opinion, for 5A Division II.
Nice. Cool. Well, let's take a jump up to Division 1 then.
All right, so moving on to 5A Division 1. In Region 1, you got Abilene versus El Paso Del Valle. Abilene versus El Paso Del Valle. And Abilene wins 42-14. Red Oak versus Denton Ryan. This was, to some people, a big shocker. Red Oak wins 29-28 in overtime. To me, it really wasn't a shocker because Denton Ryan hasn't been Denton Ryan, in my opinion, since they won the state championship.
Denton Ryan's been good. Don't get me wrong. We did a prior to the prediction or prior to the playoff show, Terry Bennett and I. And he was like, Denton Ryan. Of course, he's a Dallas guy. So, but and I'm saying, don't look past Red Oak. Red Oak's a good team. And sure enough, I was so happy when I saw that I was proven right on that one. That happens occasionally, not very often.
I hope you said something to him about that, right?
Not yet, not yet. He's at a game right now.
That's convenient that he's not here today, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, very convenient.
Anytime you can beat Billy Ryan High in football in the playoffs, it's a surprise,
Yeah.
so to speak. That name is synonymous with championship. So
Yeah. All right. Didn't mean to interrupt, Adam.
No, it's all good. So moving on, Amarillo Tascosa faced El Paso Ysleta and just took care of business 70-7 as Amarillo Tascosa moves on. Burleson Centennial took on Lake Belton and won 55-28. Centennial has been hot this year, and I've been told about them to watch out for them this year, and they're proving me wrong because I've been not really a believer in Burleson Centennial, but they took care of Lake Belton.
Mhm.
Alito, moving up into 5A Division 1, shut out Colleen Shoemaker 37-0. And Alito didn't have their starting quarterback, and I think they didn't have Brian Allen Jr. as well, and another defensive back, and they still were able to put up a shutout against Colleen Shoemaker, which is very impressive. They're still able to do that without their star players. Lubbock Cooper played El Paso Bel Air, and Cooper wins 59-7. Midlothian played Justin Northwest and won 51-34. Again, another great Midlothian ISD school that has a great run in the state tournament. And Amarillo played El Paso Parkland and won 38-20 to move on to the area round.
Yeah, definitely. In this bracket, Aledo is the class. Even though they moved up, like you said, they're definitely the class. They've got some people who could challenge them. That Centennial team, I think they'll be there at the top of the bracket with them, but it's going to be hard to get past Aledo.
Yeah, Alito. I think Alito is an easy pick in this one as far as like if you're looking at trying to pick one team. I think it's Alito and then everybody else.
All right, so moving on to Region 2 now. Mansfield Timberview, undefeated this year, took on Frisco Heritage and won 33-14. Barbers Hill played Forney, and Barbers Hill moves on 24-6 with the win. Frisco Reedy played Dallas WT White and wins 50-14. That game was held at the Star. Lancaster played Humboldt Kingwood Park and won 47-14. And Lancaster is another team too, under Coach Paul. Really changed a lot for Lancaster's culture, and they are a great team with great offense, two good running backs on their team. Lancaster is a team to look out for to possibly make a hunt and punch their ticket to Jerry World this year.
Well, they're going to have to do by Longview.
Yes, yeah. And that's what
they'll get a rematch.
Yes,
that was a good game. That was a good game the first time.
Yeah,
it really was.
Yep, and Longview, defeated Crosby 49-15.
And I do want to mention this though about the Crosby game. I don't mean to interject at all. Crosby's been playing some of the best football of the past few years, and they are a really good football team. And there was a lot of talk about Crosby may upset Longview. You haven't seen Longview play. Longview is almost the identical representation of Carthage. They make it to the playoffs. It's a machine. Everything they do is calculated into the T. It's going to take a very good football team to beat Longview. Now, this is a trap game. They are playing this next week coming up. I don't want to jump too ahead. This next week coming up is a trap game for them, I do believe.
Well, you mentioned Crosby. I have to admit, I was one of the ones saying that if anybody could beat Longview, Crosby could surprise them. I said I won't pick them, but I won't be surprised if they somehow pull it off. So I admit I was one of those that was saying, look out for Crosby with Longview, but now I'm sold on Longview.
Yeah.
Well, that makes Lancaster look that much better. They competed with Longview. I could honestly see a rematch in the region final between Lancaster and Longview here.
It might be. It might go down that way. And it could, Lancaster could, get a little bit of revenge for that first game that they played.
All right, so moving on now, we got Frisco Lone Star and Richland. Frisco Lone Star got a win 55-15. Port Arthur Memorial hosted McKinney North, and Port Arthur Memorial wins it 48-41. And Frisco Lakeland defeated Birdville 42-28 to close out Region 2. And Frisco Lakeland will move on to the area round.
It's a long drive from McKinney to go to PA Memorial.
Yeah, when I first saw that, I was like, "Dang, that's crazy for that to be in the
They
first
left
round."
on Thursday. I would have left on Thursday or Wednesday. Gosh.
And sometimes that plays a part in how you
Yeah.
play. You've been sitting on
Most
the bus the whole time.
So who do y'all have coming out of the region to match up against Alito?
It's definitely Longview. It's definitely Longview. I will say this though, and just call me crazy. I know a lot about Frisco Lone Star. My niece, my nephews, they all went there. Know a lot about the school. They are very sneaky, so I don't think they'll beat them. But Frisco Lone Star plays some good football.
I heard a lot of nice things said about Lancaster, but nobody's picking them to get out of here.
Right.
I would have to pick Lancaster to get out. They got that revenge.
I'm gonna pick them too.
Want them.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pick them too, man. I'm with you. I'm with you. I think Lancaster can do it. Again, that matchup they had against Longview the first time was really good game. It's hard to what we said earlier. It's hard to beat a team twice.
Yeah.
So I no disrespect to Longview. I think Longview is exactly what y'all say exactly what everybody says they are. But you got to face Lancaster again. So I'll pick Lancaster to come out.
Is it still the same with the home team? They'll still be playing in everyone's home stadium.
I think that was only round one.
That's round one.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, okay. I was going a little too far. Okay, I got you.
I just think I do think I'm nothing against Lancaster. I think they're going to match up against Longview again. I just think Longview learned their lesson from game one. That it was a lot closer than Longview probably wanted it to be, and so I don't think they let them sneak up on them again. I think Longview handles business, kind of the opposite of playing someone twice. I think Lancaster kind of snuck in and almost got that one that first time. I don't think Coach King in Longview lets that happen again. He's going to go back and show that old game film. Look, they almost beat us last time. Y'all going to let that happen? So I just think Longview is going to take it.
Cool.
And the thing with Lancaster, I would say, is that it's really, really hard to get to Longview, because I do think Longview just takes care of business and makes it to that region final. But Lancaster's going to have to beat two undefeated teams to make it there, and that's why I do think that if they beat both those undefeated teams, I'm going to have to roll with them to take down Longview.
So piggybacking off of what he's saying there, they're going to be battle tested by the time they get there.
Exactly.
So. Yeah, they'll be ready for Longview this second time around. I think,
If they're there.
If they get there.
Yeah. If they get there. If they don't call me.
All right, we're going to jump up to 6A, and I'm going to take a quick break here again and mention that, this Black Friday sale, 50% off any of these games, all of those games. You can bundle them. You can do whatever you want. Take 50% off, and then you can play the greatest teams of all times against each other. And it works great as a solo game. It also works great head to head. We've had some of the loudest screaming debates in the middle of one of these games. And you can replay those classic matchups, like the Galena Park, North Shore, Duncanville state championship matchups that have been so down to the wire. You can replay those and pick the plays you want to play. So again, to do that, you go to boardgamelegends.com, put in code BF22. And Brett reminded me we didn't do regions 3 and 4. That's wonderful. So why don't we do that? And
We
I
might
was
have some.
stop
We might have
talking.
some people. We might have some people upset if we forget about their teams, Chris.
My bad.
All right, Adam, hit it.
All right, so let me get back to it. Region 3, we got Magnolia West, Mag West versus Galveston Ball. Mag West wins 17-7. Georgetown face New Braunfels Canyon and wins 21-10. Angleton and Houston Madison faced off, and Angleton won 57-6. College Station faced San Antonio Wagner and wins 37-19. And now College Station A&M Consolidated faced Seguin and won 35-20. And Fulshire took care of business against Houston Sterling 66-12. Smithson Valley faced Cedar Park and won 30-7. And Manville faced Houston Waltrip and won 42-3.
Nice. I have to mention a couple things on that side of the bracket. In our prediction show we did for 5A, I mentioned Galveston Ball. They're sitting at 10-0. And I said, this is a team that is poised to get what a coach calls the worst possible outcome on a season. And that is a 10-1 record. The only way to get a 10-1 record, go undefeated, lose the first round. And they sure did. And that's a shame for them. But you mentioned Fulshire. That's another team that has come a long way. And I can't remember how long it's been since they've gone anywhere, but they've turned things around. I'm excited about that one.
I like the matchup there, the round 2 matchup, College Station Angleton.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good matchup because I like College Station in this region. But that Angleton matchup is going to be a tough one right there. I think, I'm an Aggie fan, I'm a Longhorn here, but the old A&M final could be in effect here. College Station A&M Consolidated possibly. It would be an interesting region final there. Two rival schools playing each other for the region. I think it's very highly good there.
Oh, here comes Smith. Go. Here we go. See, Les Manville's got something to say about it, but Smithson Valley's 10-1.
Yeah, Smithson Valley is a strong team. Coach Larry Hill has one thing I love about him. He's been a friend for a long time. He's had the same coaching staff, like almost every single down to a man has been the same coaching staff for 20 years, and it's so good to see them back. Do not sleep on Smithson Valley.
And to go with you on Smithson Valley, like not sleeping was I saw Smithson Valley at was it week 1 for the Pigskin Classic at the Alamo Dome, and when Freddie DeVos got injured in that game, a lot of people already counted Smithson Valley out, and we're like, well, we'll see Freddie again later. We'll forget about Smithson Valley in the San Antonio area, and they've been proving everyone wrong. And like you said, I would have to say that it probably has to go like what you said with the coaching staff. Well coaching these kids to be able to come back, finish a strong season with a great record. And now they're gonna have to face a great Manville team, that's a well-known Texas high school football playoff team. And if Smithson Valley can make it out of Manville, they got a great chance of taking this region.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to Region 4. San Antonio Southside faced Victoria East and won by 1 point, 37-36. And they're going to face on McAllen as they beat Harlingen South for 24-15. Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial faced Medina Valley and wins 70-14. Edinburgh Vea faced Westlaco East and won 49-3. PSJ North took on Donna, won 41-7. Corpus Christi Miller defeated San Antonio Southwest Legacy 70-34. Brownsville Veterans Memorial took down McAllen Rouse 45-3. And Victoria West took care of business and got it out against San Antonio Southwest 21-16 to move on to the area round. Y'all have anything to go in for this for Region 4?
No, it's
Yeah,
outside of
sorry, I
my.
was busy doing some cleanup
My
on the
area.
website. On this one, I like Edinburgh Bella. Edinburgh Bella I think it could surprise some people. And Corpus Christi Miller is probably the other one there.
So much about this. A little out of
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some homework.
these teams. Corpus schools are pretty. Yeah, betters more down there. Looks pretty good too. So if competitively, they're not one team that sticks out to me. It's like, yeah, I think this should be.
Cool. All right. Well, I already played the commercial, so I won't bother with it. We'll just jump over to 6A. How about that?
That's good.
All right, so 6A Division 2, starting off with Region 1, El Paso Eastwood faced San Angelo Central and won 61-49. Trophy Club Byron Nelson faced Boswell and won 54-14. Denton Geyer, and Flower Mound Marcus faced off, two well-known and Texas high school football powerhouses, and Denton Geyer dominated and took home the win, 42-7. Highland Park faced Arlington Bowie, another school that moved up in their division in their classification, and Highland Park beat Bowie 44-27. Walford Friendship faced El Paso Eastlake and won 35-17. South Lake Carroll defeated Crowley 52-13. McKinney faced Coppell and gets the win 44-26. And Dallas Jesuit took down Arlington 41-14 to move on to this area round.
It's
Nice.
teams in this region.
Yeah, I think to me the strong one there is South Lake Carroll, or not South Lake Carroll, Denton Geyer. But South Lake Carroll, a lot of people had said, "Look, don't sleep on those guys." But what do y'all think?
I agree with you. I think Geyer is probably going to be the strongest team, but South Lake Carroll could take it. They're a tough team too.
I think that match right there with Geyer through Highland Park, which they're always the soft team, is probably got a big line and a well-coached team. I think if they get through that one, the next team will be a little easier. And I think if they get through Highland Park, I think they're going to match up with South Lake Carroll for that region final.
Yeah, all the way.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Geyer as well. And I mean, I've said this already, with talking with other people, but I got Geyer winning 6A Division 2 this year. That's gonna be my state pick this year.
Okay.
I mean, you got Jackson Arnold, Elite 11 champion.
Yeah.
You got the Bowen brothers. Both of them been doing tremendous job on the field this year. Very impressive, and they've been tested a couple of times, and they've handled it lightly. So I feel like they're going to face a great Highland Park team, and they're going to face a very prestigious South Lake Carroll team. But I got Geyer coming out on top.
Nice. I can see that.
Okay.
All right, so Region 2, we got first game for Region 2, Rockwall Heath versus Wiley East. Rockwall Heath wins 23-16. DeSoto defeated Pflugerville Wise 37-20. New Caney faced Eisenhower from Aldine and wins 28-6. Tomball defeated Cypress Woods 30-3. Roy City faced Naaman Forest and got a win 45-14. Harker Heights defeated Mansfield 26-2. Decaney faced Conroe Oak Ridge. Right now tonight, that game is to be determined. They're going to be playing tonight at Planet Ford Stadium, and last game that has finished was Cypress Falls and Tomball Memorial, and Cypress Falls wins 45-35.
Nice.
That's pretty. I would say. So I think.
Yeah.
Region what's there, but I mean I don't think they're the head above. I mean they could get beat.
Yeah, there's some teams that could beat them. New Caney's a good team.
I was just
I
saying,
don't
New
know that
Caney's.
DeSoto good, but
Yeah, New Caney's kind of came out of nowhere.
yeah.
Well, I would say New Caney, I wouldn't say came out of nowhere. They've always been the mix. I've seen them a couple of times recent years.
Mhm.
The very first time I heard of them was when they had to come up and play Highland Park 3 years ago, I believe. And, that was a first-round exit because that's when Highland Park took care of business. But they've made it back continuously to the playoffs. And New Caney, knowing now down with everyone I know in Houston, New Caney was really a shocker of winning that district because they're in a district with Conroe. They're in a district with the Woodlands. They're in a district with Oak Ridge and Willis, and a lot of well-known teams, a lot of great players in that district, and they went undefeated to take the district championship home. And I think I have DeSoto New Caney facing each other in round 3, but whoever wins that game, in my opinion, is going to win this region and represent.
Yeah. Who do you think they're going to face? Someone like Harker Heights?
I would love to see them face Harker Heights, and if DeSoto takes down New Caney and they face Harker Heights, that'll be a great rematch from last year when DeSoto took care of Harker Heights because Harker Heights has 2 great running backs. They have a great quarterback, Dylan Blake, and I just would love to see them make it down, deep into the playoffs.
Nice. Let's jump over to Region 3 then.
All right, so Region 3, let's see. We got Katy versus Fort Bend Clements. Katy did what Katy does and wins 59-0. Humble Summer Creek took down South Houston 72-7. Shadow Creek played Brazos Wood and won 77-7. Houston Heights and Houston Stratford are playing right now in this by-district round. Fort Bend Hightower defeated Morton Ranch 29-14. C.E. King took down a very good Channelview team and won 70-14. Very impressive win from C.E. King. And then Clear Falls defeated Pearland Dawson 35-14. And then one more game being left to play. Should be almost done or already determined. Houston Memorial and Westbury faced off earlier today.
Nice. And I guess the saying I love to use, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And the man is the Katy Tigers, right?
Katy. Yeah, I think they're definitely region favorite here. I don't think there's any argument.
But Katie's definitely the king of that region.
Yeah,
So-
I could see someone like Shadow Creek meeting them in the 3rd round, but I don't know that they could even give them a game.
Well, I've seen Shadow Creek this year. Solomon week 1, I believe. In Shadow Creek, very impressive team. They won a state championship a couple years ago, and they've been wanting to get back to it. But I've been covering a lot of their players from 7-on-7. That's how I transitioned to Friday nights as well, and talk to them. That team is just well coached. Coach Butler over there does a great job with his staff on creating, really working with his players. And, his son is the quarterback, Duke Butler. He's coming back from a collarbone injury. He broke his collarbone earlier in the year, and he's already back playing this year and wants to play in the playoffs. And I talked to one of their key defensive players, Zion Taylor, as well last weekend, and he said the only team they see that can defeat them and stop them from a state championship this year is Katy.
Right.
And like you said, Katy is king, and Katy is gonna be Katy, and that'll be a great matchup to see in Region 3. And I feel we're gonna have either Katy or Shadow Creek is gonna represent this region at the end.
Nice. I like it. That's a must see game for sure.
Okay, so Region 4 now. Austin Vandergrift faced Austin Bowie and defeated Vandergrift defeated Bowie 28-14. Judson defeated San Antonio Churchill 42-5. Weslaco beat Edinburgh 16-13. Dripping Springs defeated Manor 69-14. San Antonio Brandeis wins 27-14 over San Marcos. San Antonio Warren defeated Eagle Pass 47-28. And Harlingen defeated PSJA 49-0. And one game left to be played right now: San Antonio Harlan versus Del Rio, as they're battling it out right now.
Nice. Yeah, on that side, look, I love Converse Judson. I love Coach Mark Soto. He was instrumental in helping me write the book about Converse Judson Rocket Man, and so it's a personal favorite, but my must. I don't know. My champion here in this region is Dripping Springs. Moving up to 6A, I think we're going to see just how good they are when they face off against, Katy or Shadow Creek.
Yeah, I like that too. I think Dripping Spring is the region's favorite here by far.
And like you said earlier, like Dripping Springs was a team that moved up into that district with Lake Travis and Westlake. So they've all kind of, you could say, been battle tested, and their quarterback, Austin Novosad, has had a great year this year too as well. So now he's going to be playing top dog football, and now they're finally playing it to where, it really matters that it's win or go home.
So their only loss is to Westlake.
Westlake, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and they defeated Lake Travis. And a lot of people have said it's because of that quarterback moving in, but they've got a lot more weapons than just him.
Yeah, you can't win with one player in that classification. Maybe if he moves in at little bitty school, you can win with one guy. Not that size.
But it's like Denton Geyer. They've got the best quarterback, but they've got a really good team around him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would love to see those two quarterbacks in a state championship.
So now we take it over to 6A Division 1?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So moving on to 6A Division 1, Region 1. Got El Paso Pebble Hills versus Odessa Permian. Pebble Hills beat Permian 45-28. North Crowley, on their hunt for a state title, defeated Keller Timber Creek 66-17. Prosper defeated Plano 28-3. And SGP defeated Lake Highlands in the Trilogy 31-27. Midland Legacy defeated El Paso Franklin 46-21. Keller finally got a playoff win, and they defeated Euless Trinity 17-10. Louisville took down Allen 43-18, and Arlington Martin beat Richardson Berkner 62-3. So what do we got? What do we think is going to happen here in Region 1?
You got Prosper that's solid right now, and North Crowley. I mean, you got a couple. That top bracket seems to be a little bit stronger than the bottom.
Yeah, I think this region is one of the most wide open ones because, like you said, the North Crowley, the Prospers, even the Arlington Martins. Arlington Martins surprised me early on this season by playing so well, and I think any one of those 3 or 4 teams could get out of this region.
Yeah. What do you think about Louisville? Looks like they only have one loss.
Yeah, they're on my short list too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I took care of Allen. And Allen's ranked higher than they are in the state. Surprise, surprise. That's it.
The state is that
Yeah.
one of those like West Rusk? The state likes Allen.
Yeah,
Yes.
they
Yeah.
love Allen no matter what. Allen is the Gonzaga of the state of Texas in football.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what happens, Gonzaga is going to be ranked in the nation. So
Mm-hmm.
the coaches love them. So with Louisville took care of business, exactly what they should have done. Louisville took care of business, not Louisville, but
Okay.
You're getting into basketball fever.
Yeah,
There,
I know. I'm
Louisville.
getting college
Yeah,
basketball. I always have one.
yeah.
All
Calm
right,
down,
Adam,
Corey.
let's jump down to Region 2.
All right, in Region 2, Wiley defeated Mesquite Horn 21-11. Duncanville beat Bryan 74-13. The Woodlands beat Nimitz from Aldine 73-13. Klein Kang defeats Cypress Ranch 31-24. Rockwall beats Saxe 50-24. Waxahachie took down Temple 30-21. Westfield took down Conroe 62-7, and Klein Collins defeated Bridgeland 48-14 to close out Region 2.
Nice. And what are your thoughts on that one?
Out of this one,
Duncanville.
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 Mm-hmm.
Where I live, stay here in Dallas. We got a saying: Duncanville is gonna be Duncanville. Duncanville gonna Duncanville.
Now, is any of the? I'm curious though. Is any of the negative things that Duncanville's been getting over the past few weeks that going to affect the football aspect?
That is a big question because now they have a new athletic director.
Right.
But I mean, I don't think it will. Coach Samples really just has a strong grip on how he runs his football program. So, but I do think they are a great contender to make it out of this out of this region. They would have to
It's
face.
just the year that they do it, though. I see Duncanville every year. Can they get over the hump? Can they finally get some hardware for it? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting hardware. They might get some regional hardware, but
there's a team on the other side of the bracket there that's
right.
Yep.
AW that has something to say about that. I have a feeling.
Yeah, well, in this bracket though, the Woodlands is a strong team. A lot of people aren't paying attention to them. They put up 73 in their first round playoff game, so they're solid. Klein Kane, not a lot of people are paying attention to either. But again, it always comes down to Duncanville in this region. So I'm not willing to say any of these teams can beat Duncanville.
No.
But and then another team you got to look out for is I gotta say Spring Westfield.
Oh yeah,
I saw them. I went to spring. I spent some spring ball time with them. With a couple of their practices during the spring.
It's true.
And a lot of my close friends went and checked them out this season, and talking to a couple of their coaches, they said we already turned the camera away from spring and put it onto us. They're like, now we got to let everybody else know who we really are. And they put up a big margin in their win as well. So Spring Westfield has a chance to make it out and face either the Woodlands or even Duncanville as well.
That's a regional final. That's a regional final right there. I think that's a good.
Yeah, I was going to say they definitely have a good shot to get out of the region, but beyond that, if you saw their game against Galena Park North Shore, it was children playing against men. That's what turned me off of them. Spring Westfield.
Okay, so moving on to Region 3 now. Cy-Fair defeated Houston Westside 49-0. Katy Cinco Ranch beat George Ranch 49-14. North Shore defeated Pasadena Adobe 49-3. Dickinson defeated Pearland 35-21. Houston Lamar beat Jersey Village 55-24. Ridge Point defeated Katy Tompkins in double overtime.
Nice.
They won on a 2-point conversion, 35-33. Atascocita defeated Deer Park 48-7, and Clear Springs shut out Alif Taylor 37-0.
Comes to Atascocita.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, Atascocita is solid, and they've been solid for a long time. They just can't get past North Shore. And North Shore looks to me to be better than the previous couple North Shores.
Yeah. That looks like they're going to maybe get a chance to do that in the final, their regional final of Atascocita North Shore. I think they're on a collision course there. I don't really see anybody getting in their way, honestly.
No.
Yeah, that region, I do got North Shore and Atascocita playing each other again for the region championship. I was at the game this year when North Shore played Atascocita, and that game was really, really close. Atascocita led at the half over North Shore. And, I mean, we do know North Shore doesn't have a starting quarterback. They've been rolling with David Amador, the receiver, moving to quarterback, but now they've actually brought in the second-string quarterback to put Amador as a weapon on the receiving side, and they've been successful with that. So North Shore has shown that they can, win with adversity, and Atascocita, there was a lot of questionable coaching decisions in that game where Atascocita had a chance to put up some points. They struggled with the red zone in the second half of that game, but that would be a great rematch in the region final. But North Shore, the same team that won state championship last year for North Shore, is back this year. So I do have a great feeling that North Shore has a chance to do it again.
Nice.
We got Joe's got a comment here, Chris. Says he would love to see regional samples win a state for Duncanville.
Reginald. Yeah.
Reginald, yeah.
So
that's,
I'd love to see it too. I'd love to see it happen.
It's just going to be so tough. This is such a power heavy bracket. You've got a lot of good teams.
Yeah.
And we hadn't even got to the favorite yet.
Exactly.
We'll be down here in that Region 4.
All right, so Region 4, we got Lake Travis and Round Rock rematch. They faced each other before, and Lake Travis won 35-10. Cibola Steel faced San Antonio Johnson and won 34-17. San Antonio Brennan beat Laredo Alexander 58-7. Los Fresnos beat Edinburgh North 21-6. Austin Westlake took down Cedar Ridge 58-10. New Braunfels played San Antonio Reagan and got the win 17-13. San Antonio Taft beat Laredo United 49-14, and San Benito beat La Jolla 49-14.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you, I think this is Cibolo Steel matching up against Austin Westlake. I don't even think Lake Travis has a chance to get up there.
Yeah, but I don't think it matters who Westlake plays.
Yeah.
I think they're not going to be probably challenged until maybe the semifinals, when they have to go up and play Region 3. So then it's still going. They're just so good.
They are, and just like I mentioned with Galena Park North Shore, this Westlake team looks better than the last couple Westlake teams. And opening game, I'm trying to remember who they played. It escapes me, but it was close. It was like a 14-7 halftime score, and they made the adjustment. And whatever the adjustment was, I wasn't in that locker room, but that adjustment suddenly, boom, it was like 49-7. So they're solid.
Yeah, it's definitely the case. I think the final four of this particular bracket's going to be just nasty. I mean, there's going to be some powerhouses. As long as there's no slip ups along the way, this final four could be a really, really good final four teams.
Well, it's kind of a shame because I think the two top teams are on the right side of the bracket here. The Houston teams this year. I think Galena Park, North Shore, and Westlake, the Houston-Austin teams, are head and shoulders above that Duncanville squad, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you got, of course, after they knock each other in the mouth, they may be beat up.
That's true.
And so it could let a team like Duncanville that has an
Sneak
easier
in there.
path sneak in there and beat somebody. You just
Yeah.
never
That's
know.
true. Because, one of these teams, one of those two teams is going home, which is, a travesty. And one of those is
Yeah.
going to be beat up.
Right. It happens. It's tough.
Cool.
It's time.
Any closing remarks?
I'm ready for
know.
some more football. I'm
That's
excited
right.
about the
Play
next
some
week's
ball.
game. Although there is a game tonight that I'm very concerned about, and will have it's near and dear to my heart. We got the horns. I see
got
we're
the
on
horns,
a
man.
consensus here. We got all
I see a lot of
Longhorns.
horns.
A lot of
All
Longhorns.
horns
We
around,
got
yeah.
Adams involved here, man. We got the whole
All right.
cruise.
Corey did it too. We're good.
We're all
There's
horns.
no
Hey, and I will
consistency.
say, like for
Texas Texas wins.
recruiting purposes, this could be one of the biggest games in Longhorn history in a long time.
You know,
There's a lot of recruits who are going to be at this game.
yeah, there's some visiting. Actually, I was looking at that earlier, Brett. There was a couple of guys out there visiting. But this game right here, I thought about it. I said, if Longhorns if they win this game, it hurts the Big 12 because of what it does to TCU. I said, but I need this game. I wish my Horns hadn't lost them 3 games that they had, but I need them to win this one.
OU game hurt us. I'll take the
Interesting
OU
question
mistake.
by Joe asking if 2022 Austin Westlake team better than last year's team, and I think they are. Again, it's a different makeup entirely, so we'll see. But I think they are a better team.
Yeah, that DN they've got. What's the
Colton Vasek.
Colton Vasek. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
he just slipped to Texas, and I really had never paid attention to him. I started watching some of his clips. I'm like,
He was
oh,
good last year.
Yeah, till now.
Mhm.
Till now.
Ooh.
Now it's
I was
like,
like,
yeah,
man.
Last year.
come on home.
Yeah, he's a
I was
game
like,
changer.
Yeah.
okay, we will take him. We will take him.
Well, cool, guys. Again, I want to thank each of y'all for being there, and all you people who are listening live or listening later during the week. We plan to do these every Saturday at noon while we have playoffs. Obviously, we won't do it state championship week. We'll do something else equally cool.
Awesome. Yeah,
There you go.
thanks for having us on, Chris. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thanks for having us.
Thank
for
you,
those
thank you.
for those that don't know, you can follow Corey, Vince, and myself. We're on netsn.live.
Yeah.
We have a weekly show every week and it focuses on the East Texas area. We'll be doing playoff stuff this Wednesday night, so come check us out 8:30. It is live, interactive, so come join us. And again, thanks, Chris, for letting us come on.
All right. Thank you, guys. Y'all take care.
All right.
All right, appreciate it.
See you guys.
Later.